Buffaloes made their first appearance of the day before the crowd by marching through the crowd. New coach Rick Neuheisel wanted his team to get involved, put them in amongst the nectar of enthusiasm. And so he walked them down through the crowd and into the stadium. This is the same fellow who said he was trying to defuse Nebraska Week. ABC Sports College Football presents CFA football from the Big 8 Conference. The number 2 Nebraska Cornhuskers and the number 7 Colorado Buffaloes. Buffalo to another, right? I'm sure most of you are aware of all of the travail that has followed the championship season at the University of Nebraska. But today, the Cornhuskers have come to Boulder, Colorado, and you've turned your television set on to see them play the Colorado Buffaloes. I'm sure you're also aware of all of the trouble that has been swirling around suspended running back Lawrence Phillips and all of the crises that seem to hang on to his shoulders. Well, he is not here today. He is not part of the story today. The game is the story, and it's a very meaningful game as we turn to Bob Greasy for some talk about the X's and O's that could bring us a real shootout.
Well, two of the top offenses in the country, and they get there in different ways. Nebraska brings in the number 1 rushing offense in the country. They run a lot of option, and Tommy Frazier, the quarterback, is playing as well as he ever has. On the other side, for Colorado, they do it through the air. John Hessler needs a big game for Colorado to have a chance.
I don't know that I've ever seen Nebraska really outmanned, but I have seen times when you could outrun them.
Well, and Colorado has the receivers to do that. They'll get the fast receivers. They've got a lot of them with a lot of talent. If they win today, it's because of their wide receivers' big plays.
Spread them out, use all the field, and let it rip.
Divide and conquer, that's their chance.
There's a lot at stake in this ball game today. So it's Colorado and Nebraska ready to go down below. Lynn Swan will be along in a few minutes, but right now we want to join John Saunders.
Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll be covering other regional action here on ABC Sports, including USC and Washington. Both teams unbeaten in the Pac-10. The winner will have the inside track on the Rose Bowl. In the SEC, Florida has a chance to move up to number 2 in the nation if Nebraska loses to Colorado. We'll keep you up to date on all these games, and your kickoff is up next.
Kansas up there, but Kansas is losing 27-7 to Kansas State this afternoon. Colorado could take a big step for their future in this game today, but they are facing Nebraska. The Huskers kick it off. It's Herschel Trotman at the 3. Outside to the 15, out of bounds, and there they will start. John Hessler will come in today, the youngster who had to come on as a sophomore in relief of Coy Detmer when Detmer went down with a knee injury. You can see his numbers, not bad, 9 touchdowns as a backup. The Chili starting lineup with the Colorado backs and receivers of these. The man that Rick Neuheisel said they would ride today, wide receiver Ray Caruth, one of the fastest in the stadium and in the country.
Nebraska plays a lot of man-to-man coverage, so he should get a lot of opportunities.
So here is Hessler stepping under center, and a good one, Stoltenberg. Hessler needs to have a big day. No backs remaining. Their throw on the first down, throw it down the middle, and he threw it right to Trotman, and Trotman is begging his case that the linebacker, Terrell Farley, was on his back. The offensive front for Colorado is led by number 64, Brian Stoltenberg, 280-pounder. They run at about 285 across the front. It's a good offensive line. The middle, in particular, the weakest points would be at the tackle position, mainly because of experience. It is second down and 10 from the 15-yard line for Colorado. On a little option here, pitch it out to Trotman, gets to the 20, knocked out of bounds at the 21 by Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43. Defensively for the Buffaloes, you saw the down guys and for Nebraska, rather, and you see Tomic and Wistrom, they are good, but Farley is the man. He flies all over the place. He came out of junior college and is now starting.
He has 2 interceptions for touchdowns this year and already has 2 punts that he blocked.
Well, he is something to watch.
Big plays, or follow him.
And those 2 defensive ends are also something to watch. On 3rd down and 4, the pass is down the middle of the field. It is caught by Caruth, lost his footing and went down. I think he expected contact. When he didn't get any, he fell down.
Well, let's take a look from behind the quarterback. Caruth from the right side. It's a big completion for Hessler, just a sophomore. They wanted to get the ball to their big play man, Ray Caruth. He just stumbled. He had a lot of running room in front of him.
Yeah, he'd have popped out of there with his speed. He might have outrun everybody. Lyndon Henry comes into the backfield now for Colorado as they have the first down at the 37-yard line. Hessler again throws the ball with plenty of time intended for Pedersen McCarty. No flag. Defending Terrell Farley. So Farley has already made 2 big plays in the ball game. The defensive backs. Mike Minter is the ringleader for the Cornhuskers in that secondary. Tony Veland is a former quarterback, very steady, but it's Minter, the man who flies all over the field.
Here are the stories for the day this afternoon for Colorado. Their offense needs big plays from their wide receivers, and defensively hold that rushing attack for Nebraska under 250 yards.
Again, no backs in the backfield as the Buffaloes spread them out, and Hessler on 2nd down and 10.
Too much time.
Have a flag. He burned the clock. So the play was a little late getting in. The alignment was late getting organized, and they used up the 25-second clock.
Rick Neuheisel is calling the plays, and by now, Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator for Nebraska, knows what Neuheisel wants to do, and that is spread them out and throw the football.
And they're looking at 2nd down and 15 now here in the first quarter of play. Just getting underway at Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado, on the campus of the university. Same setup with Troutman going up into a slot. Blitzer back. The blitz is on. The pass to Caruth. He's hit on the sidelines, but gets away and picks up about 7 yards on the play, but it's still going to be 3rd and long as he got away from Mike Minter, and then the defender hit him and knocked him forward. So put the ball just short of the 39-yard line, and it'll be 3rd down and 7. Kansas State beating Kansas 41-7. Nebraska beat Kansas State last week, and Kansas State now has turned on the Jayhawks and are whipping them for their first loss of the season. Hessler's pass thrown to Caruth. He had him coming across the middle. He had him available for at least a short gain. The ball was thrown hard, and he couldn't catch it.
The idea was to throw quickly. Nebraska had 9 quarterback sacks last week against Kansas State. They have a good pass rush. Neuheisel wanted to throw quickly before the rush got there.
Andy Mitchell is in the punt. He's had 4 blocked this year. Mike Coleman is deep to receive it for the Cornhuskers, along with number 4, Octavius McFarland, who is a DB. He's back there.
Buffaloes have had problems with their punt protection.
Again, I think they
burned a good punt, too. That was a great one.
That was a heck of a punt. Goes into the end zone, but the penalty flags got him before the ball was snapped. The referee today is Terry Turlington. He heads a Big 8 crew, obviously, since this is a conference game. There they are.
Dead ball. Ball start on the offense. 4th down.
So there is tension, don't you ever doubt it, in this ball game here in Boulder today. It means a lot to both teams. That was a 61-yard punt that was wasted. Damon Benning now has come on the field to join Mike Coleman in the punt return. Benning is a tailback.
Nebraska has always been able to return the ball well, and Colorado has had 4 punts blocked in their first 7 games.
Yeah, the special teams play for Colorado has been pretty ragged the last couple of weeks.
Been shaky at best.
Bobby Hawk scratching his head and working overtime on it. Ball's out of there again. It's a very high, but this time it's hanging and will not go as far, and takes a Nebraska bounce. It picked up 10 yards on that one bounce. So the Huskers have great field command for the Cornhuskers. There are his numbers that you can see in his career. You also add to that 31 rushing touchdowns. He's something in this offense. And the starting lineup, backs and receivers for Chili's. You've got Amon Green. Get used to the name, folks. He's only a freshman. And he is terrific. And he's going to be around a good long time. First down for Nebraska. The ball is at the 43 after the short punt. And here goes Frazier down the line, delivers the ball to Green. Green's on the corner, going down the sidelines. He's on his way. He's got a touchdown. 57 yards.
They knew it was coming, and they still couldn't stop it. From behind, watch this man right here. That's Black. He's the rover back that was instilled by A.J. Kristoff. He was going to make the tackles from the inside out. He gets hung up on the way with all the trash. The wide receiver Holbein, number 5, blocks the wide receiver. As advertised, option for a touchdown.
They used 10 seconds for the play. 13 minutes and 13 seconds to play in the first quarter. Folsom Field is quiet. The Buffaloes are stunned, and the Cornhuskers lead 7-0. Brought to you by Chevrolet. The cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. Bud Ice and 96-calorie Bud Ice Light, chilled below freezing for a taste that's smooth to the extreme. Hewlett-Packard printers that work almost as hard as you do. And Chili's Grill and Bar, where steak lovers go for great grilled steaks. The tumbling waters coming down off the Flatirons. Down inside Folsom Field, it's a hopeful crowd now. As Chris Brown, a freshman, high and into the end zone. Lyndon Henry will not return it. And in case you just sat down to watch the game, here's how the first touchdown was scored.
Take a look at these 3 defensive men outside as the option's going to come this way. You've got 3 Colorado Buffaloes outside. Look at them. Now watch the blocking when it develops. Right here. Stop it right here. You got Makovica blocking one. You got Holbein out there. That's the thing that everybody misses on this offense, is the blocking by the backs and the wide receivers. Outstanding, and plus, you just outrun them to the sideline. Green outran the middle linebacker.
So here comes Colorado from the 20. Their first possession started at the 15, and they couldn't do anything with it. They come with the same alignment. Spread them out. They got 5 wideouts, including the back, and John Hessler getting pursuit from the back, dumps it off. And there was no chance in the world for Troutman to catch the ball because he threw it hard right into his knees. And now a moment with Lynn Swan on the field.
Chief, let's make no mistake about it that Rick Neuheisel's inaugural season, this is his very first big game because everything is on the line and everything that he has to do almost perfectly to stay with this Nebraska football team. 2 things will be tested: his philosophy about staying relaxed and having fun, and his ability as a teacher. If he gets John Hessler prepared well to play a game and not make mistakes, they can match Nebraska. That's the only hope right now for them to stay in this ballgame, Keith.
Well, it looks to me like young John needs somebody to get him and bring him back down to the ground because he's pretty jacked up right now. Here's the pass thrown down the middle. It's much too long. Caruth was out in front, but he missed him. It was not as much overthrown as one would have thought about 10 yards before the ball got there because Caruth is so fast.
That's exactly right. The fastest man on the team. They say he's been timed in 4.17 in a 40-yard dash. I think most of the pro scouts that have been around, the college people that have timed him, say the 4.2, 4.25. That's still the fastest on the field today.
Hessler so far in this game now, they're on their second possession, is 2 of 7 passes for 23 yards. They haven't really tried to run the ball. They tried an option, and it didn't work too much. Here's another pass. This Hessler goes down the middle with it, and he misses the man, Darren Shiverini. Shiverini was available, and he missed it.
Yes, he was, and that was probably the first man that was wide open that Hessler missed. Not a good start for the Buffaloes.
Oh, they will have to punt it. Andy Mitchell, who had a 61-yarder, was lost because of penalty, then wound up with a 25-yarder. And Nebraska went 57 yards for the opening touchdown. Number 12 is Mike Coleman, who came over from Rutgers. And Damon Binning is the tailback. I'm sure you've heard that name before. One of the 4 tailbacks out of Omaha. If they let it hit the ground, it ought to go the other way, and it does. It was a tail dragger, and those things can sometimes roll a long way when they're on the turf. And this one will stop at about the 27-28-yard line. Tonight on ABC, spend Halloween at the Great Party on the Jeff Foxworthy Show, followed by Maybe This Time, then Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker, star of the network premiere of Hocus Pocus. That's all new, all tonight on ABC. So the ball sits right in between the 27-28-yard line hash marks, Nebraska's second possession, and they come out for the same unit. Except they've got Bedrell now out there at a wideout position, number 25. He's another one of those wingbacks or wideouts that can really block you. They just cuts you down. Here goes Frazier down the line on the option, same play they scored on. This time they get Green after 5 yards as Ryan Black. They come out with a nickel-back defense here, and Ryan Black finally made the tackle. Similar play that they ran the first play of the game. The offensive front for the Nebraska Cornhuskers is anchored by number 54, Aaron Graham. That ball, let me tell you this about this big guy, and they've got 300-pounders up there. But this is a year of a lot of good centers around the country. But this fellow is almost in a class by himself. He's up there right with the best. On second down, here comes Green. Taken down at the 36-yard line by Donnell Liamidi. So if we have Nebraska punting today, I'll give you the stat on Graham because it's remarkable. The defensive alignment for Colorado is led by that middle linebacker, Matt Russell. He is one of those flyers. He goes all over the field. He's just a record.
And if he looks like a clown, it's because he is the comedian. He's the team comedian, keeps everybody loose.
Kerry Hicks playing a little dinged up in the down group, the front 4. But they need some big effort from that middle group, the down group, to handle this Nebraska offense. It is 3rd down and 2. Get it outside, and they got him. Number 59 went through there and got him. Greg Jones, the junior from Denver. And so that gets a roar from the home crowd. The defensive backs for Colorado, Steve Roscoe, the free safety, is also the punt returner, and he's the man dropping deep right now to accept the punt from Jesse Koch. Aaron Graham is the center on all the snaps. He gets the ball back to the punter, 0.7. 0.07, and he has never had a bad snap on a punt. Ball goes right through Webster's hand, and he's lucky to cover it. It went right through his hand because he was looking at the man bearing down on him, didn't look the ball into his hands, and almost had a catastrophe.
Well, first of all, it's a poor punt, and Roscoe wants to get over there and stop it from rolling. He grabbed it and looking at the defensive man coming down at the same time and was fortunate to get back on the football.
So the Buffaloes are having a hard time getting started.
Maybe a little bit of nerves playing in front of the home crowd.
Northwestern comes back to beat Illinois in Champaign, 17-14. More testimony to the mettle of the Northwestern Wildcats this year. Champaign is not an easy place to win. Here's your first real running play of the ball game. And voila! He had worked for the first down as Herschel Troutman goes for 13.
Troutman is the one in the backfield that has the explosiveness. He's not big, only 5'7", but he, along with those wide receivers, have big play written all over him.
Terrell Farley has just come off the field, injured for Nebraska. It was only his second start. So move the ball to the 28-yard line for the Buffaloes. They've got a first down, and Hessler throwing again down the middle. He goes with it. Pass is caught from a little bit behind the receiver, Caruth, but it's another first down for Colorado. Now all of a sudden here is a buoyancy that we have not seen before.
Here's what Colorado wants to do. There's one receiver, 2, 3, 4. Now watch as the receiver is just going to break to the inside. You spread them out across the field, take short drops, and throw quickly before the defense gets there. It's a nice job of the receiver helping Hessler out. That ball was thrown behind him.
Lyndon Henry at the backfield, first down at the 43 for the Buffaloes. Henry's got the ball. Picks up about 4 yards. And right now we're off to New York. John Saunders.
Thanks a lot, Keith. As you know, Nebraska needs that victory because Florida is hot on their heels in the polls. They're facing Georgia today. That's Danny Werfel, 14 yards to Ike Hilliard, then 2 yards to Chris Doering. Just like that, 14-0, the Gators on top. Keith.
They can really hit you, can't they?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes.
Poor old Ray Goff. He just had all the wheels knocked off his wagon, though, when he lost Edwards. He lost
Injuries are everywhere.
Yeah. Hessler back, pressure coming, pass away, good to Troutman, shakes one, got a first down, shakes another, still going. Fine run by Troutman, short pass, big run, 32-yard line of Nebraska, first down, Colorado.
From behind the quarterback, he's got all those fast receivers. Now he's going to throw a little curl pattern across in front of the linebackers to Troutman. We mentioned how he had big play written all over him. He broke about 4 tackles, and if Phelan doesn't make the play, it's 6.
Go down to Buffaloes, who had this possession start after Rosca's fumble at their own 15 and moved it down to the Nebraska 31. Cornhuskers leading 7-0. Looking deep. Caruth is there, and it is incomplete, and he went right past the hand of Tyrone Williams, and I think may have obscured the vision for the receiver.
Yeah, good point, Keith. At least obscured the vision, if not deflected this ball. It's the only chance that Williams had. Watch number 8. He's going to get beat to the inside. Now watch as he comes across. I think he deflected it.
Yeah, it looked like a
nice play. 3-year starter, Ty Williams.
Farley is back in, second down and 10 for Colorado as Terrell Farley goes back to his linebacking position. Harlan Barnes is in the backfield now for Colorado. Hessler running an option with him. Hessler pulls it down, takes off, and gets the first down. He goes into the sidelines very hard, but he got his first down, and he runs back onto the field.
You all know that Hessler is playing for Coy Detmer, who is out for the year with a knee injury. And one of the things that Hessler does a lot better than Coy does is run the football and run the option.
Put the ball at the 18 of Nebraska. First down for Colorado. 8:20 to go in the first quarter. Nebraska leading 7-0. Hessler back. Lofted to the corner of the end zone. Savoy, touchdown. Beautiful pass.
Well, here's what the matchup that you wanted right here. You got one-on-one, and you're just going to run a fade. Everybody else is out of the ball game. You got your best receivers out against their defensive backs. Savoy, the leading receiver, coming into the ball game. That's his 4th touchdown reception on the year.
Neil Voskitcherin for the extra point. It's good. Well, the Colorado Buffaloes absorbed the shock. Nebraska scored on the very first play of the game. They have come back now to tie. And it's 7-7 with 8. Another Buffalo. Just what you need on the University of Colorado campus. There it is, an absolutely magnificent rendering outside Folsom Field in front of the field house. Big crowd came for that unveiling yesterday. Jason Leslie, the transfer from UCLA, will kick it off for Colorado. It'll be Damon Benning and Cliff.
You hear me now?
Two tailbacks. Waiting to receive it. Leslie hammers it. Not much wind. It's going to go way back into the end zone, and Childs will not return it. So it'll be a first down out at the 20 for Nebraska. These are the games that we have scheduled for you next week. So a while ago that Northwestern had won, that Penn State had won. And we're going to see that matchup. LSU, Alabama, important down in the southeast for the bowl alignment. Stanford, USC, having a growing importance in the Pac-10. So talk about the listing or check the cable operator in your area for next week.
Story of the year, Northwestern, huh?
So far, I think it has to be regardless of what happens from here on.
Unbelievable.
They don't play Ohio State. First down, here's Frazier handing the ball inside to the fullback, the first man, and Jeff McAvica from Brainerd, Nebraska, will pick up a couple of yards.
Nebraska coming in, the offense is Tommy Frazier. They're averaging 427 yards on the ground, and he is the guy that makes them go. Defensively, they have got to put pressure on quarterback Hessler. They did that the first series, the first two series. The last time Hessler got it.
Second down and 8. Frazier changing the play. Rolls it out. Looks to throw. Lets it go, and it is incomplete. The pass intended for Brendan Holbein. Buffalo defense gave Holbein no room at all on the sideline. He could not come back to the ball.
These Nebraska wide receivers, Keith, and I'm talking about Ball and Holbein and Clester Johnson and Vedral. They're not wide receivers like the wide receivers of Colorado. They are more blocking backs and running backs playing those positions. They are great blockers because of the system.
A lot of moving around before the snap. On third down and 8, Frazier drops it underneath. The pass is completed to Vedral, and Vedral crosses midfield and steps out of bounds just before he got there. He hit the chalk, and one man standing there on the sideline at about the 49-yard line. John Vedral is a junior from Gregory, South Dakota, 5'11" and 200. Normally you think of wingbacks and wideouts as being little fellas, not these guys. They're all 200
Well, like
pounds.
I said, primarily they're in there to block, and that time Vedral had a nice crossing route and picked up a big first down with the pass, Tommy Frazier.
Just short of the 49-yard line. 7-7 tie, 7:20 to play in the first quarter. This is Armand Green. And the Buffaloes heat him up just about the line of scrimmage. Armand Green, 6-footer, 210, freshman, Omaha. Benning, junior, Omaha. Clinton Childs, senior, Omaha. James Sims, sophomore, Omaha. I mean, they got quartet of tailbacks out of there.
They've had 4 different starters at the tailback position because of suspensions or injuries.
Second down and 9 for Nebraska. At the 49. Frazier on the option, keeps it. Hit hard, but he's strong. And he bowls his way to the 44 of Colorado. Secondary, the nickel back, and popped him. Frazier just shrugged him off.
Frazier ran through him. Frazier is 6'2" and 210 pounds. Black is only 180, so Frazier in actuality is a running back playing quarterback.
Third down and 3. is Green. Close to the first down, but I don't think he's got it. The ball popped out of the stack. They're calling it down. Calling him down. All that running is for naught. But I'm not at all sure that he picked up his first down.
Tommy Frazier wasn't going to trust the officials' signal. He ran after him anyway and tried to tackle him.
It's going to be fourth.
Well, let's take a look. Third and short, and they hand it to their tailback. The ball is out. The ball is out, clearly out, before he hit the ground.
Oh, the Huskers got lucky.
Yeah, that's a call that went Nebraska's way.
4th and 1. Green is the single back. You'll see Frazier probably get in Green's Aaron Graham's hip pocket. That's what he does, and I don't know if he made it. I don't think he made it. Matt Russell among those that helped turn him back, and Greg Jones. They'll measure. I think they had to be across the 42 to get it. They had to be over the 42. I think they're short by about a half a yard.
Bobby?
They didn't make it.
There you go, 3rd and 4th and short. Defensive line goes down below the offensive line. Big play for the defense, Colorado.
So the shock of that opening touchdown by Nebraska, and now all of a sudden Colorado is really flying high. They come back to score, and now the defense has stopped Nebraska in the middle of the field.
They had a touchdown. See, they almost had the touchdown.
Yep. On the 42, Hessler sets up and throws short. He had Ray Caruth and missed him. Now here's some news from John Saunders. Listen.
Well, Keith, the guy sitting next to you is going to like a look at this highlight, because Sonny boy Brian Greasy going 75 yards to a Monty Toomer. He takes it the rest of the way for the touchdown. Michigan is rolling. Tim Diakabatuka has a couple of touchdowns, but not bad, eh, Dad? Back to you.
The old Pappy's got a grin.
Not bad.
4 yards wide.
Yeah.
There he
He
is.
blames me for the interceptions. He takes credit for everything else.
That's great. 2nd down and 10. And Colorado spins a timeout. 4:50 to go. And it's 7-7 between the Huskers. We'll get a chance to see him.
There he is.
He started the season as the quarterback. Many thought he was going to be one of the better ones in the country.
Yeah.
Then he went down with knee injury and surgery. He was leading the nation in passing.
Exactly.
This week, Hoying has taken the lead in passing in the nation.
Let's reiterate. He was leading the nation in passing, was Detmer, and John Hessler stepped in and has done a pretty good job until the last 2 ball games. The last 2 ball games not so good, but coming out this ball game, Hessler has shown some toughness in getting that sharpness back that he had earlier in the year.
Herschel Trotman lines up at tailback now. Buffaloes take over after holding him on defense. 2nd down and 10 in the first quarter. Throws an interception. Threw the ball right to Terrell Farley. And Farley is on his way. He's finally knocked out of bounds at the 14-yard line of Colorado. So Hessler puts no air under the ball, and Terrell Farley, who has become a very dramatic personality on the defensive side of the ball.
Trying to get the ball on a curl right here, but watch Farley right here. He's just going to drop back and pick it off. Obviously, he does not pick up Farley. He would have thrown this ball. Farley has 2 interceptions already on the year. Both of them he ran back for touchdowns. We mentioned he had blocked 2 punts. He is a big play linebacker right here. Farley, good presence, pretty good hands, and off to the races.
And the Huskers have it first down at the Colorado 14-yard line. They go into the power I. It is Frazier handing to Green, and Green is caught behind the line of scrimmage as Donnell Liametti blitzed on the play and got him.
Let's go back and take a look. A key play a little earlier, that fumble by Green on third down. The ball that's going to come out. It's out. From another angle, we knew it was out. And here is the corner, Wilkins, number 20. He picks this ball up and runs it in for a touchdown. That was disallowed by the officials.
They called him down. Second down and 12 as the ball comes back outside the 16. Frazier sets up. Little shovel pass to Green. Green inside the 10. And taken down at the 7-yard line by Alan Wilbon. Oh, that little shovel play that moves him down the field for about...
That's exactly what it is, Keith. It is a shovel pass, but really it's a option in reverse.
Yep.
The quarterback is deeper. They are optioning off the end, and he's just pitching the ball forward. Last week, 2 touchdowns that way on shovel passes against Kansas State.
Third down and a long 3. Ball at the 7 of Colorado following the interception. Frazier is in there for the first down, but not the touchdown. They're going to be about the 2, maybe inside the 2-yard line. At the conclusion of the game, we'll pick a genuine Chevrolet most valuable player from each team. To date, Chevrolet contributing almost $5.5 million to the scholarship funds of the colleges and universities of the country. So here's Nebraska threatening to untie it at 7 with 3 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Taking off at the line of scrimmage.
Frazier gives it to Green. Touchdown. So the interception, the turnover, and the Cornhuskers cash it in.
Take a look at it from the other side of the field. It'll be coming right at you. 59 is Jones. The tight end, 88, that's Jackson. He doesn't do a very good job of blocking, but he doesn't need it inside. Green, who only weighs 210 pounds, just takes the tackle of Russell and pulls him in the end zone.
Chris Brown, a freshman from South Lake, Texas, who has some leg, knocks it through. We watched him hit 55-yarders in warm-up. The football game has determined the Big 8 Conference Championship over the last 8 years, and it looks like it's going to do it again this year. With 2:52 to play in the first quarter, it's 14-7 Nebraska.
But if there's one thing that Nebraska and Tom Osborne's offense doesn't need, and that is help and good field position. That time on that drive, they started from the 13-yard line after the interception by Farley.
The Huskers come into this ball game with a 20-game win streak. They've already locked in 34 consecutive winning seasons, and the records just keep rolling up.
Oh, it's unbelievable. You look at some of the records. 206 straight sellouts at home. They're a pretty good road team, Keith. One of the best in the nation at winning on the road. In fact, their road record the last 6 years is 22-4-1.
Troutman, you saw him there, number 5, waiting, along with Lyndon Henry, 2 tailbacks. Chris Brown will kick it off. Both Brown and Leslie appear to be capable of keeping the ball in the end zone all day long if they so choose. But this one won't get there. It's very high, though. Very high. On the 2, it's Henry. When you get the ball up that high, you're going to get pretty good coverage, and they did. They take him down at the 15. That's the second time here in the first quarter that Colorado has started a possession at their own 15-yard line.
Well, we mentioned early on that the special teams for the Buffs have not been that good, and it makes a difference where you start your field position.
Kansas State beats Kansas 41-7. Both schools in Kansas are their first loss. K-State slipped in Lincoln last week by about that same score, wasn't it? 42-7?
Yeah, something like that.
And today they turned around and whacked the Jayhawks. Hessler comes up now, 5 of 14 so far here in the first quarter. This is Henry, and he gets maybe a yard and a half on that carry. Jimmy, he's Kenny Rogers. How about that? Kenny, in his shirt sleeves, will tell you how warm and comfortable it is if you don't get in the wind. Be sitting there where he is, a little balcony outside of Rick Neuheisel's office.
Yeah.
Very cozy and warm. Beautiful morning. Hessler back, quick pass again, and it's badly thrown. Thrown behind Lyndon Henry.
The idea there is to get the ball to your halfback, who is out lined up as a wide receiver, on a linebacker, and let him catch it and run. Just missed it. You got to know when to hold him and
when to fold.
Oh, when to fold.
Not bad, Bruce. Can you pick two?
No, I can't.
Third down and 9. Hessler getting a lot of time and is lucky to get that one back. Boy, he threw that thing in traffic intended for Chris Anderson. And it was almost going the other way as Jamel Williams had a hold of it.
What's happening here is Charlie McBride, Keith, the defensive coordinator, has thrown in some zones. Nebraska had always been a man coverage team, but one of the wrinkles that he's throwing in today is zones. When you spread him out, he's not going man-to-man, and Hessler's going to have to watch out. There's a look at Charlie, because there is some zones there.
Hard Mitchell is in, and he's going to give Nebraska a pretty good field position as Damon Benning and Mike Coleman handle the punt. No pressure on him. He gets it out of there, gets it across midfield, and they're going to take it. It is Benning stepping up and catching the ball at the 48-yard line. So it's a 37-yard punt with no return. We had an old friend of ours who's been with us a long, long time, Jerry Reuter, who is normally our crew telco manager, had a little stroke last week. Jerry is in an Iowa hospital in Iowa City, University Hospital, and recuperating and resting, and we wish him the very best, he and his family.
Is that the only picture we had of Jerry? I mean, had he eaten something?
Eating donuts, chocolate-covered donuts.
That's right. One of his favorite things to do. Runs a lot, healthy guy.
All right, it's Benning and Makovica lined up this time behind Frazier in that power eye set. And Frazier still got it, looks down the middle of the field, he goes to the side, and the pass is completed to number 33, Lester Johnson, and Johnson canters on in for a touchdown. Lester Johnson, 210-pound senior from Bellevue, just went up and took the ball away.
Tom Osborne likes to do this. Good field position, fake the run. You've established it all day. Tommy Frazier comes back and throws this ball a little short, but Johnson goes up and makes that's only his 13th catch of the year and his second for a touchdown.
And Chris Brown will kick out of John Vedrill's hole. Aaron Graham snap. And the kick is good. And it's 21-7, Nebraska. And it's quiet in Boulder.
Well, it's certainly quieted down the crowd, Keith. Here's another look at it. When you have a play action, your running game has to be working, and it is. Then you can go to your pass, and first down is a great down for passing. Tom Osborne calling the plays. That is the 6th one-play scoring drive this year for Nebraska.
John Hessler has had 2 very bad possessions now as a result of Charlie McBride and the defensive secondary people changing their tune.
Well, and Rick Neuheisel was telling us yesterday that one of the things they wanted to do is at least get the ball offensively to midfield before you turn it over or have to punt it. You don't want to give it up
on downs around midfield where they can just do anything they want to do. At least offensively get it to the 40 or 50 and then punt it so they'd have to go the length of the field.
1:47 remaining in the first quarter. It's been a long quarter. Brown will kick it off with Henry and Troutman waiting for it. There have been 11 possessions with this one in the last 13 minutes of the first quarter. That ball's been moving around back and forth. And they're going to run it out. He got a little crack. He gets past that one, he'll be all right. He got it out as far as the 22. Lyndon Henry. He was close to breaking a pretty good play there.
Yes, he was.
So at least they get it across the 20. Ohio State pounded Iowa 56-7 at halftime. And Tennessee has scored 56 against South Carolina today.
Only loss for Tennessee was at Florida. They're a pretty good ball club.
And the one we noted a while ago, Kansas State beating Kansas. Northwestern over Illinois. Tennessee, Penn State will test Northwestern next week. Guarantee you. Hessler's in there. Let's see now if the youngster's been able to settle himself a bit. For Lyndon Henry. Henry took a shot in the back from Wistrom. Grant Wistrom.
Well, not only is Nebraska good offensively with the run, they lead the nation in rushing yardage, but defensively, they're second in the nation at stopping the run. They only allow 73 yards per game on the average.
There's another kid in that defensive front, though, that's playing a lot more as the year goes on, named Chad Kelsey, and he was involved in that last tackle. He was on the bottom.
He's a true freshman.
Yep. I mean, he's getting a lot of playing time now. Good one. It is second down and 9. Hessler's pass thrown to Caruth, and Minter really popped him. Mike Minter, a junior from Lawton, Oklahoma.
That's just a nice play by Minter. He was out all last year with a knee injury. The championship season, he missed it. Here's Minter here now. When the ball is thrown out here in the flat, he's just going to react up to it. He's a safety. He sees it in front of him, and watch how quickly he gets up to shut it down. Majoring in engineering, he and Beal and Bolt, the two safeties, very bright.
No back. Pressure coming, passes away. Back caught on the ricochet by Herschel Troutman, and he picks up a first down. The pass intended for number 41 McCarty, and it bounced into the hands of Troutman. So the Buffaloes get a little break there.
For sure, Keith, because another interception inside the 40-yard line would have been tough. Linebackers are going to drop straight back, and that usually tells you zone. So you got to be careful. And just a little bit of fortune there for the Buffs.
37-yard line as we start the second quarter with Nebraska leading 21-7. And it is Herschel Troutman turning back into the middle. The Peters brothers, Christian and Jason, are out of there right now. And so they test the middle and find 3 yards.
As you look at the numbers, the first quarter, 165 total yards for Nebraska. Pretty good balance. Third down conversions are pretty good. The one turnover for Colorado turned into 7 points for Nebraska.
Second down, short 7. Troutman pops it over the left side. Gets on the Nebraska side of the field, inside the Cornhusker 47. So a good tough run by Troutman. And some pretty good blocking on that side from Smith and Irwin. We were talking about Brian Stoltenberg, the center for Colorado. He has the athletic ability and the strength and the speed. He can snap that ball, pull out, and lead a play.
Yes, he can, and that's the mark of a good center, Keith, when he has the strength and quickness to snap it, your hands between your legs, and then get out of there.
After that run, the Peters brothers are back in the ball game. Christian and Jason, and back goes Hessler, looking to throw it downfield. That is thrown out of town as far as his own man at Caruth is concerned. Minter runs down and gets a hand on it, trying to intercept, but that wasn't anywhere near his target.
And it's a nice play by Minter because it was play action, and he read his keys very nicely to know, hey, you're not fooling me. I'm getting over there to help. And the thing he reads is the offensive line. When he sees the offensive line sit back, is in pass protection, and not go forward, there's Charlie McBride, who coaches the defense and does a nice job. He just took off and says, I'm doubling on Caruth.
Kelsey goes into a down position, making him a defensive end in a rush posture. Let's see if he goes. Yeah, he goes. And the pass is away and thrown behind Troutman by Hessler. So Hessler looks every once in a while like he's laboring, like the ball's heavy. It's getting there late, and it's trailing his target.
Well, that time it was the running back playing a wide receiver position who just didn't get to the open area.
You see, the Washington Huskies have gone out to a 10-0 lead over Southern California. The Trojans were shocked last week in South Bend, and apparently that shock still got a grip on them. They're playing in Seattle. If it's raining, they got a problem. 3rd down and 10.
It's a tough place to play up there, Pete.
Yep.
As you know.
Yep. Timeout. Hessler called it. 13:41 to play in the first half. Colorado sky today. Tomorrow? Who knows? Last time we were here, the day we arrived, they had 11 inches of snow. This trip was very pleasant, except the winds were blowing Wednesday night over 100 miles an hour at Estes Park.
I'll take this weather any day when we come out here in October.
3rd down and 10. The ball is at the 47 of Nebraska. Hessler, after the timeout, looking, ducks it off. The ball goes to number 88, Matt Lepsis, his tight end. Lepsis puts his head down and goes bulling toward a first down marker. And I don't know if he made it. It does not appear that he did. He didn't. He's about a yard short. All right, tomorrow at 3 Eastern, we'll have final round coverage of the Tour Championship. Billy Mayfair's 3 under, and he has the lead. You have a 3-way tie for second with Brad Bryant, Steve Elkton, and Corey Pabin. So they're all gathered together at Southern Hills. We'll have the finish tomorrow here on ABC Sports. The wind finally quieted down there. It's been blowing like the dickens too. Into the middle they go for it, and they got it. Herschel Troutman went over the top, and if that linesman coming in from the side has the mark on it, they got it. Farley was the man that hit him as he went up over the top. But now they didn't put the ball where that linesman was standing. Remember that Colorado held Nebraska in about this area too on the defensive stands. There must be some quicksand under the turf. But it appeared that he had it. He did. But not by as much as I thought.
That was close.
Got that old left foot, right foot gig going there.
Look at in the pit, the line of scrimmage. Naoli is 65, blocking on one of the Peters brothers. 63 is Irwin coming around, and that's just good defensive back play, I guess. That's the defensive backs coming up. That's Farley, 43. Good play. Irwin, Naoli, Stoltenberg, the inside of that offensive line.
Not much room in there with Christian and Jason Peters.
That's a good battle all day long, Pete.
Two brothers. Here's a hole on the right side for Troutman. And he came very close to putting that one away. Tyrone Williams finally wrestled him down. But that is a first down run by Herschel Troutman.
Take a look from behind the defense. Coleman's 46. Watch Phelan, number 9, is going to miss the tackle right here. That's a nice play by Troutman. Minter's not going to miss. He comes up, slows him up till his friends get there, Williams and the rest.
You know, I sort of have the feeling that Colorado may have underestimated their ability to run the football.
Well, I think they're going back to it right now.
This is the 11th play on first down. Give it to Troutman again, turns it back into traffic. That time the flow got him. It was Jason Peter, the sophomore brother. They come out of Locust, New Jersey. Christian, the senior, weighs Jason, the sophomore, is scoring 285.
Yeah, they took a survey last week or a couple weeks ago, and they team survey, and they said Christian Peter, the thing about him is he is not the guy you want to be behind if you're going through the food line. If you're going to get food, Christian Peter is not the guy to be behind. 300 pounds.
Nothing left.
Well, he's going to take everything that's good.
21-7, Nebraska is leading. Colorado trying to pop through there and get another one. Hessler back to throw. He's got Savoy. Now it's too late for that one. And they'll take him down at the 22. Phil Savoy on a post was available for a moment. He didn't see him, and in a flash it was too late.
Well, you're right, Keith. Again, mixing the coverages in the secondary. Hessler, I'm sure, was expecting a lot of man coverage. That's what Nebraska plays 85% of the time. Today, they're mixing that up about half and half, so he's just going to have to pick and choose and be careful when he throws the ball in the secondary that he sees the whole defense.
The tight ends have not been obvious at all for Colorado so far in the game. That left us to caught one pass. McCarty missed one.
There he comes.
Quickly away down the middle. It is Chris Anderson to the 6-yard line and a first and goal. Almost got in there.
Well, quarterbacks, look at the single coverage right here. Everybody's lined up. Watch what's going to happen. The receiver's going to come down right here, and that's going to be a little wide receiver screen. Now, Anderson is big. He's 6'3" or 6'4". He just drags Williams, makes sure he has the first down. But when you get the defensive backs lined up on you, you can read man coverage very easily.
It is on the 7-yard line, first and goal, and handed to Lyndon Henry to the corner, down to about the 1. Tony Veland and Michael Booker kept him out of the end zone.
It's a big drive for the Buffs, Keith. If they can answer here, kind of bring back the shock that they had from that last touchdown.
Anderson, the tall receiver, comes in now, 6'4".
Look at this drive, 14 plays. That's what you need. Keep the ball away from Tommy Frazier in that offense.
Keith Irwin was the big guy in pursuit of it, and he got it.
He went after that ball like he was covering a pumpkin or something.
Now, Ole is the injured player for Colorado. Chris Nioli, the right guard.
Here's a look at the play from the other side, from ground level behind the defense. 63 is Irwin, who's going to pull out, gets a block. Who knocks that loose? Is that the middle linebacker?
I couldn't tell, but it came out with some authority.
Definitely did. And Irwin, who is the left guard and who pulled on the play.
They're lucky that the ball didn't go all the way through the end zone.
You're exactly right.
So that had a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
And that thing could have gone right through the end zone and been wasted.
Heath Irwin is the nephew of Hale Irwin, who Hale Irwin, the golfer, who was an All-American here at Colorado, the same secondary with Dick Anderson, a former teammate of mine.
So the Buffaloes get on the scoreboard at 9:34 to go in the second quarter. And now they'll try to, Skitcherin will try to make it a 7-point game.
Tom says, well, we'll just go down and score some more points. We're averaging 54 points. Averaging 54 points a game, so we'll get some more.
It was Ryan Terwilliger that knocked it out of there and caused the fumble. And the kick is up, and the kick is good. So it's 21-14, Nebraska with 9:34 to go in the first half. And here's a replay showing the fumble. Here comes Terwilliger, right there. But the toughest matchup, Tommy Frazier was on the sideline. But Brooke Behringer backing up quarterback Corey Schlesinger on a touchdown run here. Tight ends had a huge day, and the Huskers won big, 24-7.
Take a look at that last touchdown. Watch from behind the defense. Terwilliger, 91, puts his arm right on the football. That's just good defense. Not often that an offensive lineman gets an opportunity like this. Look at him. I don't want to knock it out of the end zone. I just want to cover that baby. Come on here, honey.
Hessler was over there, too.
He mentioned that his uncle, Hale Irwin, played here. His father also was an outstanding player. He played linebacker for Colorado.
Jared Tomich, incidentally, defensive end for Nebraska, has gone to the clubhouse with an injured back. Kick, carrying deep into the end zone. Childs will take it and put it down.
Speaking of Hale Irwin and golf and all this other stuff, the Tour Championship.
Oh, you sandbagger.
This is not a card from the Tour Championship, but rather my partner.
You sandbagged me.
Finally, he had a birthday recently, and he shot 67. Shot his age last Monday. Thank goodness. We don't have to listen to all this crying and moaning and groaning. He finally shot his age. We're going to send you out on the tour, partner.
I'm going to retire. I'll never win another game.
Yeah, you'd be leading the tournament. You've been playing in
I should have known better than to trust one. I should have known better than to trust Lynch one.
Yeah. And we don't know. You may be lying about your age, too.
I am, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I know.
On first down from the 20, Brian Schuster, who is a junior from Fullerton. Didn't get much on it. Got a yard. As Hessler on the left, Neuheisel on the right. Rick, of course, a quarterback at UCLA, an MVP in the Rose Bowl. Played with the San Antonio Gunslingers. He did. Second down and 9. Vedril's a man in motion. Frazier goes the other way with it, pulls up and lets it go to the tight end. Down the middle of the field, Mark Gilman. And it's first down at the 47-yard line. Well, the big old boys just hunker down and roll around in the mud and blood, and once in a while they get a little piece of glory like this.
Tom Osborne loves to throw the ball to his tight ends. This time he's going to hit the tight end down the middle. Watch as the play action is going to go to the top of the screen. Stop it right here. Here's your two tight ends right there going down the field. Tommy Frazier picks out the one down the middle. Underthrew him a little bit, but still a big completion.
And on first down, they give the ball to Benning. And at tailback, Damon Benning is a 205-pound junior out of Omaha.
Last year's game, Keith, the Nebraska killed Colorado throwing to their tight ends. In fact, 9 of the 12 completions that they had last year were to tight ends.
Amon Green scored on his very first carry from 57 yards for the 7-0 lead, first play of the game. His last 7 carries, though, have been pretty quiet. He's gained 6 yards. So we're getting all the tailbacks into the game now. Benning settles down on second down and 8.
You don't see Nebraska with this formation very often, but
play clock's getting pretty thin, and it expires. They have to spend the timeout. There is a primary reason why Nebraska leads 21-14.
They've had 19 plays in this game, and they are averaging 10.2 yards per play.
On second down and 8. The crowd jumps all over Tommy Frazier as he tries to set him up at the line of scrimmage. And shakes a tackler. Now coming back the other way. That's pretty good defensive play by the Buffaloes, because Frazier's a big, strong, quick fellow, and he was close to popping out of there.
He made a 5-yard loss into a 2 or 3 yard gain real quickly.
He puts the ball at the 47-yard line of Colorado. 7:20 to go in the first half.
The passing attack for Nebraska and Tom Osborne is a sneaky passing attack, I call it, because they choose to throw when they want to throw, and they're very good at it.
3rd and 4, and they're in the shotgun. Green and Frazier back there. And the crowd gets all over it, and Frazier calls a timeout. I don't know whether he's frustrated by the crowd. He could turn to the referee and appeal.
Well, I think it took so long to get the substitutions in there, Keith, that he saw the time running down.
Couldn't do it. So that's 2 timeouts quickly, and they only have 1 left.
Knee, the right knee, he had a brace on it, so the doctor couldn't check it out, so he had to go inside so he could drop his pants, get a good look at it. We don't know if he'll be back in the ball game or not, Keith.
So Tomic is gone and Peter is gone, huh? 2 of them. 3rd down and 4. Same alignment. Got to watch the ball to know when the play develops. It just goes to Tommy Frazier, and he pulls it down like an old-fashioned single-wing play and goes right over left guard for the first down.
Quarterback draw, and that's really, when you've got a guy like Frazier running it, it's like a running back draw because he can pick him up and lay him down.
How come you call it a quarterback draw when single-wing days they didn't call it that? What's the difference?
I don't know. I guess the numbers. Now they're wearing 15 and 12. In those days, they were in 88.
41-yard line, first down with Green and Macavica lined up in a power eye behind Frazier. Now the crowd gets back into it. Here's Frazier setting up to throw down the middle, and he gets whacked. Gets the ball away to Green. Green down the sideline. Is really belted at the 8-yard line, but it's a first and goal, Nebraska.
That is unbelievable. And he can reload this ball and get rid of it.
You don't think he's not strong?
Whew. He was looking downfield to throw to his tight end. His tight end was going to be covered. From the right side of your screen, the tight end's going to come straight down. See him? Coming straight down. He's not open. Now Frazier's going to get hit. He reloads and throws it all the way over to the sideline to his 3rd receiver, who was Green. That may have been the strongest play I've seen all year. You've got to be strong to stay on your feet there.
Green left the lineup. Benning is in at tailback. He had to go get a new hat. They hand it to the first man, the fullback, and that gets virtually nothing out of it.
Any other quarterback, Keith, in that situation is on the ground. He makes a big play out of it.
You bet. Well, Boston College hasn't surrendered, have they? That's at halftime.
Tommy Frazier is 5 of 6, 149 yards, and 1 TD. He is the leading passer, efficiency-wise, in the Big 8 Conference, but he doesn't have enough to qualify in the national ranking.
Reggie Ball is the man up at the top of the picture. He might get a call here. And penalty flags. They're going to Ball. He's wide open, and he missed him.
The fullback moved a little bit early anyway, Keith.
So the defender on that side, Kenny Wilkins, fell down, and Reggie Ball was wide open, but it's a penalty call, illegal procedure against Nebraska anyway.
Tom Osborne there, he's the man that calls the plays. Usually runs them in with a wide receiver or a tailback. He's an old quarterback that is really a sly fox. We saw a sly fox, a great fox, last week in Hayden Fry. This one here can call plays with the best of them. Look at him, like an old quarterback back at Hastings.
There's the new version. Third and goal from the 8-yard line for Nebraska. 21-14 ball game. 5:22 to play first half. And the referee, Terry Turlington, says Colorado wants a timeout. So let's spend a moment during this timeout with John Saunders about what's coming up at halftime.
Coming up at halftime on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll have all the day's scores and highlights, including another look at Northwestern, the surprise team of the year, and a winner again today.
We filed a few coming up at halftimes on each other there, didn't we? Why would A.J. want a timeout at that particular
He may have
point?
wanted to see the formation that Tom came out with. He came out with 2 tight ends, 2 backs, and 1 wide receiver, but you can be sure that the formation this time is going to be different. And what A.J. Kristoff, the defensive coordinator, but I want to see the formation, and that may force Tom to go to his next play in a different formation.
Remember in the A&M game, we were here before, they came out with this goofy formation, forced A&M to call 2 times out in a row.
That's right. But here's the key play in the drive so far. Play action. Watch to the top of your screen. Frazier's going to get hit right there and just hangs on. Receiver downfield was covered. Came off to the number 3 receiver on that play. Here's Andy. A.J. Man from Idaho. Call him Captain Blitz. He likes to be aggressive, likes to blitz, and the defensive players like that style.
3rd and goal from the 8 now.
Watch the tight end.
Green is back in. He becomes a wide receiver. Frazier to throw it. Fires it, intended for Green, and it is incomplete. And it'll be 4th down and goal. And that should get your kicking team on the field. Chris Brown, the place kicker out of South Lake, Texas, was an all-state high school quarterback. Carroll High School. He's only 18 years old. But he's got some leg. This will be a 25-yard field goal try. Ron Bedwell holds it. Aaron Graham snaps it. Watch this snap. Boom, boom, so quick and crisp. And it popped right down the highway. And so Nebraska's lead goes to 10 at 24-14, 5:15 to play first half. Now then, if the Buffaloes can answer, it mean a lot to them when they go to the clubhouse.
Well, we mentioned both teams at the top had outstanding offenses. Nebraska came in averaging 54 points a game, and the Buffs averaged 42 points. So they're used to scoring a lot of points.
In the so-called red zone, Nebraska 37 of 46. Now coming into this ball game. And with 3 touchdowns and a field goal, they've enhanced that considerably. But 26 out of 31 times with Tommy Frazier at quarterback coming into today's ball game, they've scored points.
10 plays, 72 yards. Took a long time to get out and get a field goal. I mean, they had 2 plays, 2 touchdown drives of only 1 play.
Yep. Chris Brown will kick it off now with Herschel Trotman and Lyndon Henry deep for the Buffaloes. That kick is short. It's high, but it's relatively short. It is Henry up at the 9. Looks for a little daylight. A wall on the side. Can't find it. Comes to the 25, and there the Buffaloes will start. Essler's been shaky the last 2 or 3 possessions. Last 3 possessions.
I'm sure that Neuheisel is telling the offense over there on the sideline, we got a lot of time, 5 minutes. It doesn't matter how long it takes. We just need some points on the board. 3 ado. We'd like to have 7. Hessler is 9 of 12, Keith, 115 yards.
On the last possession now, they ran the ball.
9 of 22.
Ran the ball very well. Naoli is not on the field. They're going to go for the run with Henry, and Lyndon Henry was going to get about 4 yards on the carry. So Chris Naoli is not on the field, and Swanee can tell us why.
Yeah, Keith, he's walking off the field right now. He sprained his right ankle. It's an ankle that's been giving him a problem throughout the year. They got him on the sideline. They tried to retape it. He couldn't go with it, so now they're just going to get him into the locker room early and try and pin to it inside. Keith?
All righty, Jared Tomich. Tomich is back in at defensive end. He had been out for quite a while with a back. And Christian Peter is back in the middle of the trenches for the defender. This pass is completed to Phil Savoy, who is a sophomore. And he picks up a first down. And that was a good, crisp, bang-bang play, the kind that the Colorado coaches were talking about all day, all week.
And against a zone coverage where now they're reacting a little bit better to it. Savoy stopping, getting in an open gap, and staying there. The throw is made, and he's running after the catch.
Buffaloes have no times out remaining, so they've got 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining on the clock as they come to the line of scrimmage for the snap. Here again is Henry bouncing outside. You see the foot speed of the Nebraska defenders. No way. Jamel Williams, a linebacker.
Did you see what Wistrom did to that defensive end? That was like a draw trap, and Wistrom, the defensive end, just stuffed that guard when he came over there.
Grant Wistrom, a sophomore, 240-pounder from Webb City, lanky fellow, still growing probably.
That's the guard from the right there, and he is stuffed. It's Wistrom. He says, I've seen this before, and it ain't coming this way.
Second down and 8. Hessler's got Caruth, but doesn't see him and throws it away. He had Caruth down the middle, but Tomich didn't give him any time.
Well, one of the stories going in for Nebraska defensively, they've got to get some pressure on John Hessler. And I think with Naioli's injury, the offensive guard, that's going to help put the pressure on Hessler. If you play man coverage in your secondary, you better get some pressure on the quarterback.
Andrew Welch, the backup center, sophomore out of Walnut Creek, California, is in there at the right guard spot, number 74. Double wide now, bottom of the picture.
By themselves out here.
Third and 8. Bad pass. Chris Anderson was the intended receiver, but he was in and the ball went out. And
they expected him to go the other way. You see Neuheiser talking to the receiver. And right after the ball was thrown, Hessler motioned to the outside. Just a miscommunication.
But it brings in the punter, Andy Mitchell. And so with 3:26 to play and 1 timeout remaining, Nebraska gets the ball back, leading 24-20. We're in the first half. High spinning kick, spinning under it. And he's taken down right about where he caught it. So it's a 45-yard punt and a 1-yard return. And next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on ABC's College Football, either Alabama, LSU, Penn State, Northwestern, or the others you see there. Thing you want to do, if you see a game there that's not coming into your area free, call your cable operator and see what he's got for you on pay-per-view. Price is right. 2:30 Central Time. Amon Green lines up in the backfield. Ball is on the 17. Now the closed into the stadium and the crowd getting on him. Give it to Green. Bouncing outside and finally hit from behind and taken down. And the man that got him was number 95, Darrell Price. Gain 1, second down 9.
The idea for the Buffs is put 9 men up near the line of scrimmage to stop the run and force them to throw. And they've thrown some and been successful, but you got to stop the run against Nebraska first and foremost.
That pass is completed to Reggie Ball and very close to a first down. Kind of an interesting defensive alignment there for a moment. There was a hole in the middle of the defense, and Matt Russell stepped up and went down into 3-point.
Yes.
The middle linebacker.
Matt Russell, we mentioned he was the comedian, the clown. He's the leading tackler this year. He had an interception for a touchdown last week that really helped. They were struggling in Iowa State. His interception in the second half really helped breeze the way for them to win in the fourth quarter.
Third and a short yard. They've got it Green to the 30-yard line where he's ridden down. Nebraska's offensive front, Chris Dishman is 310, Aaron Taylor 305, Eric Anderson 300. The runt of the bunch is Aaron Graham, the center, at 275, and Steve Ott, the right guard, at 290.
And not one of them is over 6'4", Keith, and a couple of them are 6'1", so they're squatty bodies, but they've got good feet, and that's the key.
Out of the shotgun, Frazier, quick flip. Ball caught by Lester Johnson, who has a touchdown in the game. And Johnson picks up another first down. That stops the clock at 1:32.
Tommy Frazier says, what is this? We got this shotgun business. We can go 3 and 4 wide receivers. We're not always running that option. Frazier, a 4-year starter.
It's a pretty good-looking football team, Bob.
I like the offensive. They lost 4 to offensive linemen from last year. They just moved the next ones up.
Number 88, the tight end, broke his stance. Sheldon Jackson, redshirt freshman out of Diamond Bar, California, broke his stance. And got the flags flying.
Nebraska needs to throw. Tom gets Jackson in the ball game because he is the best of the receiving tight ends.
Now, the tight end's allowed, isn't he?
He is allowed to move, but if you pull the guy, that's what they're talking about right now.
Whether or not he pulled him off. Colorado doesn't have a timeout. If someone in the black shirt was trying to call one, they don't have any to call. Let's see.
Dead ball, illegal substitution on the defense, 5 yards.
Yeah, that was what the call was. Oh, the Buffaloes hurt themselves.
Well, they haven't been penalized too much today. Neuheiser's team is the most penalized team in the Big 8, and that has hurt them. But Rick was telling us yesterday, to win this game, we got to have no sacks, no penalties, and no interceptions. And for the most part, they've avoided those today.
1:14 left. You had to have 69 penalties coming into the game. That's a lot. Little stuff. Frazier loads it up. And throws over Reggie Ball's head, out of bounds, incomplete. And there's a penalty flag. And back where Frazier threw the ball. Do we have a face mask? Somebody grabbing him or rough the passer? Maybe. Roughing the passer.
Well, see, that's the thing that we were just mentioning about the most penalized team in the Big 8. Here you go. From the left side, he's going to come in and hit Frazier. No, you can't do that.
That's too obvious.
And if you're going to hit him, you don't hit him up around his shoulders and his helmet to leave a question there in the referee's mind. I mean, Price may have been off of his feet and in the air, but you still don't go up around his shoulders and his neck and his helmet and hit him.
So that 15-yard penalty puts the ball down at the Buffalo 37 with 1:01 to play in the first half. And Frazier, a little shovel pass to Green. The ball is rolling around loose and it is covered. It'll be an incomplete forward pass. See, that's why that thing is so effective.
Yeah.
Even if it fails, it's effective.
And who should run it better than Frazier? Because, like I say, it's like an option. It's like a forward option rather than a backward option. Although the only difference in this is if it's forward and you fumble it, it's like it's a pass. Incomplete.
2nd and 10 with 55 seconds. Benning back there with Frazier. Ball is thrown underneath. And penalty flag. They've got a hold of his face mask.
Yeah.
They made the tackle. So they're going to tack on at least 5 on Lester Johnson's catch.
Last 4 plays has been, what, 3 flags against the defense.
Yep.
And this is one where you don't want to give them another score before you go in at halftime.
Nebraska does not need any help.
Exactly.
Murchison taking him down was the man that kept his hand tangled up in the face mask. There's the 5-yard penalty. Third line, make it a first down, Nebraska. They've got 48 seconds. The clock is running. They've got 1 timeout. They lead 24-14. Frazier up the middle.
He is just tough.
Looked just like Frankie Sinkfish. That's another first down for the Huskers.
I mean, they've got a spread formation, and Frazier's back there, and he just makes no bones about it. The guards pull, and they just takes off running.
13-yard line, first down, Huskers. Benning in motion, he gets outside on the little shovel to him. That was a lateral pass, and Benning is inside the 10. So Nebraska spins its final timeout, stopping the clock at 15 seconds. Prudential halftime report. John Saunders scores and highlights. We'll have a report from Lewis Johnson on the Northwestern Wildcats and their narrow victory today down in Champaign.
Well, a great job Gary Barnett's done, huh?
Not bad.
He's the freshman kicker. I like him. They lost a good one last year in Erstad, the number one choice in the baseball draft, but this kid's pretty good.
Well, Darren took a load of money to the bank, though, and had a big season, so his future looks pretty bright in baseball. The kicker cranking up, but they got 15 seconds and no timeouts remaining, so it looks like they want to go for one more play and then try to get the kicker in.
And Keith, it cannot be a run play.
Nope.
Or if it is a run play, it has to be wide and get out of bounds. So it could be an option. And Frazier may say, all right, either I've got to keep it and get out of bounds if I don't get in the score, or I've got to toss it and get out of bounds, because if you don't get out of bounds or you don't throw it past incompletion, the clock will run out. Only 15 seconds.
Damon Benning is the tailback. They're throwing. Touchdown. Federal.
Tom Osborne, boy, he saves these plays. He knows when to pull them out. Nice call, nice execution. He's been doing it for a few years.
Brown for the point. Touchdown came with 10 seconds to play in the first half. A little crooked, but it was good. That is the 70th 7-0 Frazier touchdown passer run in his 32 games.
He's the key. There is no question. Frazier's going to take it and roll just a little bit this way. Now, over here, the tight end is going to go deep to draw all the attention. Now, watch Vedral right here. He's just going to sneak right underneath, and the throw is going to be perfect. Little play action, roll a little bit. Vedral sneaks in under the tight end. Got to get out of the way of the umpire. And he just sticks it to him. I mean, it's not your spread offense. But it's very efficient. Nebraska, the last couple of years, have been a very efficient passing team. By that I mean the number of touchdown passes to the number of passes thrown has been tops in the conference.
Chris Brown has gone out and summoned all of his teammates into a little huddle as if he's bringing some special information here. But I can't imagine anything other than a wallop. 31-14 where we are in the ball game. Nebraska leading. If Colorado doesn't mount some kind of a comeback in the second half, I don't know who's going to challenge Nebraska the rest of the way. They can just buy their suntan oil now. That's Troutman, 2 yards deep in the end zone. Back to the 20. Down he goes. 5 seconds remain on the clock.
That was a big, big score in this ball game, Keith. And they started it from their own 17-yard line. Colorado helped them along the way a little bit with some defensive penalties. But a big score. You go into the locker room down 17, points as the Buffs are going to do versus going down in about 10 points. It's a big difference.
You've got Savoy and Anderson coming to the bottom of your picture now. It figures that Caruth, so all three of them, they're going to take off. And Hessler's going to throw it probably just as far as he can. Now he can't either. He throws it to Savoy, completes the pass, but it's only to the 30-yard line, and that'll do it for the halftime. So Nebraska getting a late touchdown here in the second half, as Bob said, stretches it out to a 17-point lead, 31-14. So they scored first on the very first offensive play of the game, take the lead, and they scored last at the half. And that's points over Colorado. Young quarterback, at times very unsettled in that first half. 17 points too much?
I would like to have Coy Detmer to try and make up that difference, but they don't have Coy Detmer. Hessler's going to have to be the guy, but the problem is stopping. You know, Colorado has the Buffalo. Nebraska has the steamroller. These times they had the ball, and nobody can stop them. I mean, they do it one way, rushing, then they'll do it another way, throwing.
And they get the ball to start the second half of play, so this is very crucial moment for the Colorado Buffaloes. Their defense has to hunker down and somehow get a hold of this Nebraskan juggernaut. Otherwise, you can ross in the bowl in Oregon. High kick. 11-yard line. Clinton Childs. And Childs is up to about the 28.
Take a look at the halftime numbers. Looking for Nebraska. Total yardage, 295, but 184 passing, only 111 rushing. Penalties. Look at the penalties for Colorado. 5 for 36. Nebraska has yet to be penalized.
That means they've got 74 for the season penalties. Well, little stuff too, generally not big things. Frazier hands it off to his fullback, and he backs his way for an extra 4 yards after the first hit. Macabega picking up about 7 or 8 yards.
The leaders for Nebraska, Frazier is having a good first half, 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. Green, the freshman, with 69 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing. And the receivers, Johnson leads them, 72 yards and a touchdown, and Vedral also has a touchdown. Defensively, the leaders, Leomidi, 6 tackles, Rosga and Black, both with 5.
Macabeka actually got 9 yards on the previous play and just picked up a first down for the Cornhuskers at the 40-yard line. So they start out with an attitude that they can run the ball up the middle, and they have so far.
Nebraska had the ball 7 times. The first time they had it, 1 play for a touchdown. Then look down to the 5th time, 1 play, another touchdown. The last 4 possessions they had 3 touchdowns and a field goal.
So from the 40, it is a first down, and this is where you can open it up. They stay with the running game. Give it a Green, the tailback, picks up 5 yards, and we go to Lynn Swan.
Well, Keith, at halftime, Rick Neuheisel was confident his offense could move the football against Nebraska, and he wasn't overly concerned about the 17-point deficit. He was going to come back in, try and stop their play-action pass and control the tight end. And on the other side, Tom Osborne said that he was surprised that Colorado could run the ball well up the middle. He just will continue to adjust and make the plays, and said hopefully he'll come out on top. Keith?
That's a pretty good chance of that.
Second down and 5. Tailback Green runs into one of his blockers who was stacked up by a Colorado defender, and Green will lose a yard. Darrell Price.
Nice job there.
Yeah, he just jammed it, didn't he?
Well, we talked about Nebraska, what they needed to do. Tommy Frazier is the story. He's 184 yards, 6 rushes for 32 yards, and he is the man. And pressure the quarterback. They've had 4 hurries. They've got him for a sack. They've forced an interception, and they've given up 1 touchdown pass.
Now you got the rover in. You've got a nickelback in the ball game on 3rd down and 5 for Colorado. Frazier looking around, throws, got his man. Pass is caught by Brendan Holbein for a first down at the Colorado 39. and a penalty flag. So that'll move the ball from inside the 39, somewhere down around the 33. Out Colorado.
It's not a sophisticated passing game that Tom Osborne has at Nebraska, but because the running game is so good and so dominant that you have to respect the fake even on 3rd and 5, and he just has Frazier look for one area, and he's good enough to throw it in that area.
They put the ball right on the 34 for the first down snap. Option, stops, turns, looks back, goes for the corner, and it is incomplete. Ball running under the ball. Couldn't get to it.
Good play, good call inside the 35, 40-yard line. Osborne likes to go for it on first down. He feels like from his coaches in the press box at halftime, they told him run inside and you can throw on first down, especially backside down the field. That's what he tried to do then. Good coverage by the Bucs.
2nd and 10. First man, Macavicka.
Yeah, run inside. That was the message at halftime. Colorado is stacked on the outside for the option. Macavicka and his brother, who was a freshman, are both walk-ons. They both came from 8-man football.
Joel is the brother. He's the 225-pounder.
His number was 32. Joe's number was 22. They said, wait, we got to change one of these numbers. Too close.
3rd and 7. Over to Reggie Ball. Gets a block. Trying to come back inside on a screen, and the Buffaloes play it well.
Frazier is signaling over to Osborne. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. I know it's not a first down. We can go for it. There is no question, Keith, that this is the man right here that makes this offense go. He missed 8 games last year and got back and played in the championship game in the Orange Bowl, was named the MVP. They lost 4 offensive linemen. They've had 4 different starting tailbacks, but Osborne and Frazier make this offense go.
They're going on 4th and 4. Incomplete pass intended for number 3, Riley Washington.
But that is not the strength of this offense, and that is dropping back and throwing the ball. Play action, options, and stuff like that, but when you're expecting pass, this is not that talented of an offensive passing game.
Now the Colorado defense has done its job. It is now up to the Colorado offense to get things cranked up.
It's just a quick out, wide receiver. There's nobody blocking. There's nobody blocking 59 Jones, and that does affect the quarterback when he's trying to get the ball loose.
Good news for the Buffaloes. Chris Naioli is back at right guard, and that's exactly where Herschel Troutman went. Right in between Naioli and Melvin Thomas, and picks up a big run all the way out to the 43.
Let's take a look at what's been going on in the first half. Colorado, Hessler was a little bit less than 50%, had a touchdown and interception. Troutman, 52 yards, and Caruth among the wide receivers leading with 44 yards. Savoy with a touchdown. The defensive leaders, Williams had 6 tackles, Farley had 5 tackles and the 1 interception.
4 wideouts now. And they've got the tight ends outside, the wide receivers inside, run it with Herschel Troutman. And he gets a pretty good spot right at the line of scrimmage from Christian Peter. So this is the play. Now let me kind of try to explain this to you. You got the wide receivers lined up basically where the tight ends used to be, and the tight ends are outside where the wide receivers are.
Well, you got 4 wide, so you got slots on both sides, and usually the wide receivers are outside. So Neuheisel said, we're going to put them inside, put the tight ends on the outside, and that'll force the corners to make a decision. Are you going to stay outside and cover tight ends or inside? And that time they stayed outside on the tight end.
So they go back come inside to Phil Savoy. He'd have been better off if he'd have run down the middle of the field with it. But he still puts it over on the 49-yard line of Nebraska.
Here's what we mean, Keith. Here's a tight end here. This one right here is a wide receiver. Over here is the same way. This is a wide receiver. Now, what they try to do is get mismatches on the wide receivers in the slot. And that's what you get right there.
Trotman and Miller in the backfield now. It's 3rd down and 2. Trotman going for the first down, dragged down short of the line of scrimmage by Doug Coleman. So they'll be looking at 4th down, and we're off to Dr. John's Hunter.
Keith, Nebraska has been extremely impressive today, but the team right behind them in the polls just as impressive. Danny Werfel to Riedel Anthony for the touchdown, 39 yards for Werfel. His 5th touchdown pass of the day, 35-3. Keith.
They do know how to throw the ball, and Neuheisel was down at Florida learning from him. 4th down right here.
4th and 3, and they're going. It's closer to 3 than 2. Going big, too. It's James Kidd. He's got it. He's loose. He scores.
That's 4th and 1. You get man coverage out here. It's a gutsy call by Rick Neuheisel. A perfect throw by Hessler. This is a big-time chance, and we said early on, if Colorado had a chance, the wide receivers had to make some big plays.
Oscaricium, the point is good. And so the whole hum turns into a holy cow. It's 31-21.
You know, we just went to New York for that update.
But I'll tell you what he can do. He can run, and he can catch it. And he just did.
That was a big play, Keith. That was 4th and 1 on the 50-yard line. If they miss that, Nebraska gets the ball on the 50 going downhill. That was a key play for a young head coach.
All right, Leslie kicks it off. Barefoot one. Knocks it back 3 yards into the end zone. They'll come out with it. It's Clinton Childs. And they take him down at the 11. So the Buffaloes are mile high right now.
Neuheisel's got him. We talked about what Colorado needed to do offensively. Needed big plays from their wide receivers, and they're getting it. 8 receptions, 96 yards. Now they have 2 touchdowns. Defensively, hold Nebraska under 250 yards. They're doing that, only 111, but Tommy Frazier is hurting him with the pass, over 180 yards in the first half.
This is the poorest starting point of a possession for Nebraska. Officially, they'll call it the 12 because it's beyond the 11. They run Amon Green inside up to the 15. Wisconsin came back to Baylor. Nice deep From the 15, it is 2nd down, short 7. There's your option. They got the quarterback early, forced the pitch early, and they got Amon Green, and he picks up 2 yards, and here's 20.
Thank you, Keith. This is Corey Detmer, who went out after the injury against Texas A&M. How are you feeling right now after the operation?
I'm feeling real good. You know, the surgery went real well, and they've got me on a real aggressive rehabilitation program, and so everything's going real good right now.
You were talking to John Hessler on the sideline, Rick Neuheisel at halftime. What's that conversation about?
Well, just telling him to relax, and it's going to be a long game, and to go out there and just do the best he can. And he's come out the second half and really made a big play here early on, so, you know, he's been looking good.
He's going to keep that spot warm for you.
Yeah, he is. You know, it's real disappointing to me, you know, not to get a play in this game. These are tough games that you dream about playing, and, you know, hopefully next year it'll work out where I'll get to get in this game.
I suppose that had you stayed healthy and had a great season, people would have asked you whether you'd be back for your senior year, but you're determined to come back?
Oh, yeah. You know, I would have stayed, you know, with my size, you know, and things like that. The pro scouts, you know, I feel like I just have to cruise it down a little bit more.
Okay, Corey, thank you very much. Keith?
All of a sudden, Jet Makovica has become a key personality in this thing. While Swanee was talking to Coy, you saw him get out there and get lost by the defense and pick up the first down on the pass.
That was his first reception of the year.
Yeah. Now you got penalty flags after that last carry by the fullback. So the Nebraska fullback, they're quiet for a long time, the blocking back, and then all of a sudden, boom, here they come, and the penalty is against Colorado. Did I say Colorado?
Yeah, you're right. They're talking.
Colorado. They're going to take it back to the point of the foul and then come back this way.
Tommy Frazier saying, yeah, we want that penalty. We'll take it. Tommy Frazier just throwing with you. 214 yards now passing. That's a career high. Usually beats you with his feet, but he can beat you with his arm.
And that 15-yard penalty will put the football up at the 44-yard line. 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. 31-21 Nebraska. Defense changing around. They go the other way with it. And trying to get Green out there one-on-one, but he can't get away. Number 3, Donnell
Liamidi, great tackle.
Had him in what amounted to the open field and took him down.
One-on-one. That's exactly right. And there was nobody else. If Liamidi doesn't tackle him. You play an option team, Keith, like Nebraska. The safeties of your defense, Liamidi and Rozga, better be up there in tackles. Probably going to be your leading tackles because they're going to make a lot of plays.
Second down and 8. Frazier turns around, looks for somebody, and he finally finds the tight end, Mark Gilman. Gilman will have a first down for the Cornhuskers at the 44-yard line of Colorado. Now, A.J. Kristoff's troops are getting the heat put on them. Frazier just looks like he's toying with them. They're just a yard short of him all the time, it seems.
You know, Frazier seems to make the right plays and the right calls all the time. We mentioned earlier, he's a 4-year starter. He knows this system inside and out.
Clinton Childs is in the backfield. Quarterback draw here. And a pickup of close to 4 yards. Monday night action night on ABC. Jeff Fahey as the marshal. Then on we go to the NFC Central. Chicago Bears with Eric Kramer at quarterback. Minnesota Vikings with Warren Moon. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. That's Action Monday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, here on ABC.
The black and blue division, huh?
Used to be.
Yeah.
Although it isn't quite so much so anymore, is it? Greg Jones.
Some bruises on him as he goes out.
Yep, pretty good game. It is second down and close to 6. Here goes Childs. That's another one of those Omaha tailbacks, and he runs for a first down at the 25-yard line.
And they're running inside ever since they came out at halftime. The word is everything is stacked to stop the option on the outside, and they've been running Makovica and Childs and Green, the tailbacks, up inside and doing a lot of good yardage inside instead of outside with the option.
Colorado's got to gamble some now on the defense. You got to guess a little. You see that Federal, who's lined up as a wingback, comes around that corner and threw a whale of a block over there. But the fullback Makovica had been taken down. Big 8 scores today. Iowa State bouncing back for the win. Missouri gave Oklahoma all they wanted. 4. I mean, that's a real fist fight down there in the middle, isn't it? I mean, they are really some big people slapping each other around.
Yeah, Liamides hurt, too. He went right to the ground.
So while they take time for the injured Donnell Liamidi, we can tell you it is a stadium record crowd today at Folsom Field. As you see, 54,063. So Liamidi, who is a sturdy horse in that secondary, the strong safety, and he's hurt. We got a timeout. We are driving excitement. And Canon, who reminds you there is so much more you can do with a new color bubble jet printer from Canon. Liamidi to the sidelines, and it looks like he does have what Bob called a stinger in the shoulder. 8 tackles, all solos, as he left the game. This is the 10th play of this Nebraska possession. Frazier turns it back into the middle on 3rd down and a yard, and will have the first down. He's down to the 14, and that's plenty.
Good teams come back and answer touchdowns by your opposition, and that's what Nebraska is doing.
Left shoulder swing stinger, and he's back. You can rub those things out sometimes rather quickly. 31-21 ball game, and the Huskers are down knocking on the door at the Colorado 14-yard line. Frazier gives the option. The ball gets away from Clinton Childs, and he is taken down back at the 19. Ryan Black, who plays in that nickel position, or the rover back position it amounts to, and when Liamidi went out of the ball game, Mike Phillips came in as a former linebacker, or plays weak side linebacker. And there have been instances in the game today where he has gone to that rover spot. That's filling a spot down the middle so that big old Nebraska tight end doesn't have a field day like he did last year. Second down and 15. Back at the 19. Frazier looking around, lets it go, and as Vedral looked back, Frazier had thrown the ball, and they don't hook him.
Timing was bad because there was good coverage when he wanted to throw it. The coverage was there.
Vedral went right straight at T.J. Cunningham, who played a pretty good game today. A&M, we were here the last time, kind of picked on T.J., but Nebraska's left him alone pretty much. Kansas picked on him a little.
T.J. used to be a wide receiver. He's covering ball, the wide receiver.
3rd and 15. Pass is drilled incomplete. It was intended for Brendan Holbein, and he had double coverage by the time Frazier put the ball down there. And I mean, he had some sauce on that thing.
Yes, he did. If anything, he has a tendency to throw it too hard sometimes, but that ball was on target. Good coverage.
So your kicking team is on the field now with Chris Brown, the place kicker, at 2:05 to play in the 3rd quarter.
This is a big field goal here. If they can get some points out of this drive, be a plus.
It's 36-yard try. Plenty of legs. Don't ever worry about that. And it's good. So it is now 34-21. Nebraska at 2:01 to go, quarter number 3. Museum inside the oldest building on campus. That ball is from the 1904 CU Nebraska game. That baseball bat and the glove there used in the motion picture The Natural and on exhibit at the museum. Chris Brown will kick it off now at a 34-21 ball game. And that's on its way to Longmont. Here is John Saunders with some news out of Seattle.
Well, Keith, USC, the struggle last week against Notre Dame, struggle this week against Washington, finally gets it going. Kyle Waholtz, 15 yards to Keyshawn Johnson. He has 92 yards in receptions. sets up Rodney Sermon's touchdown, and they have the ball right now in Washington territory. Troy Davis of Iowa State, 202 yards today, and as you know, Iowa State will face Nebraska next week. We, of course, will keep you up to date on all the games. Right now, Keith, back to you.
Thank you, John. Here come the Buffaloes, down by 13, 2:01 to play third quarter. The ball is on the 20, and it's Lyndon Henry for a yard, and that's all. The Peters brothers are Christian and Jason in the middle. Grant Wistrom and Jared Tomich are the defensive ends. The linebacking core for the Cornhuskers, Farley, Coleman, and Foreman, 43, 46, and 56. And those linebackers have been stacking wood all day.
Two Christian brothers. Peter brothers, Christian Peter and Jason Peter. Yeah. The huge ones inside, yeah.
Gained a couple of yards out to about the 23 by Lyndon Henry. He's a sophomore out of Port Arthur, Texas.
But Nebraska has revamped this defense. Charlie McBride, the last couple of years, going to speed. The only two big players are those two tackles, the two Peters, and they just hold down the center, and then the rest of them can fly. The defensive ends were linebackers, and the defensive linebackers used to be defensive backs, so a lot of speed.
James Kidd now is a wide out to the bottom of the screen. He's the young man who caught the touchdown a while ago. Hessler's pass is away and arrived, and it'll be fourth down.
See, things just didn't work out the way they did in practice. The timing wasn't perfect, and John has to learn to move around, step around, buy some time. If there's any time to buy in that pass rush, you've got to buy it, feel the rush, and try to make a play with what's there.
So Nebraska should come out of this with good field position. Mitchell is in to punt. The kick is very high, but very short. They do, however, get a good roll on it. And it's out of bounds down at the 30-yard line. There's the lineup of college football games for next Saturday. Check your local listings. If you don't like what you're getting free, call your cable operator and say, how much you got on pay-per-view? I'll give you $9.95 if you'll give me what I want.
Here's a look at Brooke Beringer. He has kind of been the forgotten man this year. He hurt his knee a little bit. 7-0 as a starter last year. He stepped in. You know, Keith, it kind of reminds me of Earl Morrow, what Earl did for our championship team back in the 70s when we went undefeated. Nebraska would not have won the national championship last year were it not for Brooke Beringer.
Absolutely. Frazier coming down on the option, goes outside the green. Look at a leg drive. Powerful young man. His leg drive may be more pronounced, more prolific than almost any of the backs. In fact, any of the backs. And many of the players on the team. He had tremendously powerful legs. He ran over Rosga, got a shook off Steve, so if you can do that tough nut like that, you're pretty strong.
Well, you didn't plan on playing a true freshman, Amon Green, this year. I mean, you had plenty of tailbacks. Your top three were coming back.
Up the middle, Makovica. And he's going to pick up 4 yards on the carry. So we're running down toward the end of the third quarter. And after 3, 34.
Now back to you, Keith.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Is that a Lady Buffalo?
I don't know.
Second down. And call it 6. And here we go with the fourth quarter of play. Nebraska owns the lead by 13. They own the football. Run it with Amon Green to the line of scrimmage. It'll get a half a yard or so. It'll be third down and at least 5, maybe a little more.
Take a look at the numbers after 3 quarters, and the thing interesting to me, Nebraska total yards of 404, but look at the passing yards. 223 yards passing for Nebraska through 3 quarters. They only average 158 because
Colorado is shutting down the run in pretty nice fashion.
Third down. Shotgun. Option. Green. Won't get there. Real good play by number 23, Alan Wilbon. Frazier down. No, Green hurt. Amon Green who's shaken up on the play.
He had an ankle injury earlier in the week.
Frazier, that was a pitch back, not forward, so it's not a forward pass forward. He has 223 passing yards in the game as they work on Amon Green.
Looks like he just got hit in the thigh, Keith, above his knee. He was off the ground, so there's no structural damage to the knee.
No.
Yeah, I think it was just a bruise to the upper, just above the knee on the right side. See, he's off the ground right now when he gets hit.
Helmet hit him just above the knee.
Yeah.
Nebraska has never had, according to Dave Burnson, I'm putting it on him, a 300-yard passing game in 106 years of football.
It tells you a little bit about their tradition.
Jesse Cushion punted, gets it up in the air. Laska calls a fair catch at about the 13-yard line. Colorado trailing by 13 points, gets the football first down at their 13-yard line. Their worst starting point for possession in the game. Haskell looking around, is hit as he throws it, and it is intercepted right into the arms of Doug Coleman. John Hessler took a wicked hit right in the back as he tried to deliver the ball. He's walking very slowly off the field, and Nebraska's in the catbird seat.
Well, we talked about getting pressure from that defensive line. I think this is the first time they're going to knock the ball loose. That from the right side over there, Wistrom. It might be Wistrom.
Looked like it. I think it was. Can't see his number, but it looked like Wistrom.
Yeah, 98 is Wistrom right there. Does a nice job, and we talked early on, the defensive ends against the offensive tackles were a little bit of a mismatch, the pressure coming from there.
Childs goes in motion, and Frazier, wanting to run that quarterback draw, will do so and pick up about 2 yards. Darrell Price was the man that brought him down for Colorado. So the Buffaloes turn it over again, and they've got themselves in a fix.
Well, that was just a big play by Thomas. Worcester.
The young'un's got 3 TD passes today. Dead.
You talking about the kids?
Yep.
Oh.
Playing for the Little Brown Jug.
Yes, sir. I'm doing all right.
This is Clinton Childs skipping and driving down to the 15-yard line. And here's Swanee.
Keith, Amon Green, I'm being told, has a bruised knee. Now, he had one protective sleeve on that right knee. They went in and got another sleeve and pulled it over his shoe. So they anticipate him going back in the ball game, but it's a bruised right knee, Keith.
He's 17 of 97 and 2 touchdowns so far running the ball.
Well, any kind of a score would help Nebraska. They're up by 13, and at least a field goal put them up by 16. So
Frazier caught behind the line of scrimmage and is going to go down back around the 22-yard line. Matt Russell and Ryan Black led that defensive charge.
Yeah, this is not a bad defense that Colorado's has either. We talked about him playing that rover back, 9 guys up near the line of scrimmage. A.J. Kristoff, here's the 5th defensive back, and he scrapes one way or the other, no matter wherever he goes, wherever the option goes. That's the play that time. Liamidi got in there first, and then Black, number 6.
Chris Brown from 37 yards for a field goal try.
That's strong there.
He's pretty good.
That is strong.
He's had 3, 25, 36, 37, and that makes it a 16-point lead for Nebraska at 37-21.
So that turnover turns into 3 points, and Now Colorado's down by 16 rather than just down by 13. Here's a look at the top 25 and how they're doing. Kansas lost. Northwestern won at Illinois.
Oregon's having some trouble today, too. They play California. They play Washington next week.
Auburn plays later. Who they got? Arkansas?
Yep, that's a big game in the SEC.
Yeah.
And it's in Fayetteville, I believe. It's at Arkansas.
That's a battle for the SEC West Championship, isn't it? Or close to it, yeah.
Might be at Little Rock, yeah. That's a difference, too, because Little Rock, they'd be playing on the rug. At least there was a rug there the last time. Oregon's playing Arizona State tonight. And they play on their losing to ASU at this particular point in time. It's been a tough year for Bruce Snyder and his Sun Devils. So that Auburn-Arkansas game is in Little Rock tonight. Big ball game. Low line drive that is fielded at the 1-yard line by Lyndon Henry, and he comes back to about the 19. So Nebraska's coverage continues to be very good on kickoffs.
McFarland doing a nice job on that kickoff return. Here's a look at the Huskers. 186 straight. When they've scored 35 points or more, they lead this one 37-21.
Well, their football history is becoming one of the most remarkable in the history of the game. There's no question about it. So Nebraska leading 37-21 with 11:44 to play in the fourth quarter in Colorado, with a possession starting at their own 19-yard line as Herschel Troutman moves it out near the 23. Nebraska jumped to the lead, scored first on a 57-yard run by Green. They scored last in the first half, and they lead rather comfortably now by 16 points, having just added a field goal. Rick Neuheisel, with the sun shining in his eyes now, watched his quarterback Hessler get hit from the back by Wistrom a moment ago and had a pass intercepted. That opened the way for that Nebraska field goal. 16 points is a lot different than 13. Ball is drilled low, and the pass is caught. Darren Shiverini makes the catch for the Buffaloes, and John Hessler took a shot again.
Yeah, talk about being drilled. You said he drilled it low. Hessler got drilled. One of the stories was Nebraska putting some pressure on Hessler. He takes a little extra time.
Luther Harden.
That's being drilled right there.
That's a mismatch, boy.
Yeah, I'll say.
First down, though. Back he goes again. Plucky kid throwing to Savoy. Caught it for a first down out at the 43-yard line. Tyrone Williams made the tackle. And so all of a sudden, the Buffaloes, who have been out of sync for the last 7 or 8 minutes, suddenly find something again.
Well, this is what he's looking at right here. Look at all this space out here, the wide open space. It's just one-on-one. If he can get this ball to his receiver and get it there on a good, and he breaks a tackle, there's a lot of room to run to the wide side of the field.
Hey, hammering over the left side, 3 yards. Hessler in the game, 15 of 32, 211 yards, a couple of touchdowns, but 2 interceptions.
Nebraska defense came in with 25 sacks on the year, and they had 9 last week. So the Peter brothers and Coleman and Tomish and Wistrom and Williams, this is a pretty good defense right here.
Second down and 6 for the Buffaloes. Ball is underthrown for Savoy. He had 2 receivers and 3 defenders over on the near sideline. This is the first time that we've seen Nebraska up close and personal
since last year. And
this is a very good football.
And they lost, Keith, they lost 14 starters, 7 on offense and 7 on defense, plus their kicker. Tom Osborne's group doesn't seem like they've lost a bit. They still have that quick defense.
Quick punch can play with him.
Oh, yes.
That pass is complete, and that should be enough for a first down. He was well beyond the marker when he made the catch down inside the 46-yard line. Chris Anderson, who is the bigger target of all the wide receivers at 6'4", 220, and there's a penalty flag. So let's hold on a second before we move the change. Ineligible man was down feet.
That's illegal substitution, isn't it?
Or illegal substitution.
Just left.
I think it's illegal man.
Ineligible downfield.
Yeah.
On the offense. Repeat third down.
Yep. Wrong man took off. Michigan opening up the Minnesota game now at 45-10. 9 minutes and 35 seconds and the clock running. 37-21. Nebraska leads. Number 2 Nebraska playing number 7 Colorado. Kansas State thrashed Kansas today 41-7. The Jayhawks first loss. The penalty makes it third down 11 for Colorado. Oh, they hurt themselves again with another penalty. So they've had a lot. That's a great play there by Grant Wistrom, the sophomore from Webb City. And here's John.
Well, Keith, you'll be interested in this because I know where your travel schedule is headed next week. This is Darnell Autry, a 1-yard touchdown run. Northwestern remains unbeaten in the Big Ten. They knock off Illinois 17-14. And Penn State a winner over Indiana. Wally Richardson, 17 yards there to Bobby Ingram. They will hook up next week. Some of you will see that game here on ABC. And Keith, you'll be one of them, right? Penn State, Northwestern.
If we can find a place to live.
Big
Chicago's
convention.
overrun with some kind of convention. Terrell Farley was bouncing around up there at the top of the picture, and the Colorado man on that side of the field, T.J. Cunningham, backed up. And Farley intimidates him out of 5 yards.
Well, here's the reason, because Colorado's had 4 punts blocked, and Farley has blocked 2 this year, and in junior college, where he was the last 2 years, he blocked 22 kicks in those 2 years in junior college. So he's got 24 blocks the last 2.5 years.
He's still up there at the top. No, he's come down inside a little bit now. He's one man down and working his way down the middle, but the kick is out there safely. And it's at the 25-yard line for Damon Binney. And he takes a little bit of... With 8:20 to play in the ball game. 37-21, Nebraska. That penalty that Colorado had a moment ago was their 9th penalty in the ball game and the 78th penalty of the season. That's too many. Clinton Childs is the tailback. He's got the ball, and he goes down not quite at the line of scrimmage, so he lost a bit on that play. The man leading it was Clifton Peters. No, he is Peters plural, not Peter. Not of the New Jersey Peter.
Not of the Nebraska Peter.
Second down, 12. Bedroll is way wide down at the bottom of the picture, going back toward the ball now. Frazier hands it, no, keeps it, throws it, got a man open. Pass is caught by Mark Gilman, the tight end. And that's a first down for the Cornhuskers up at the 43. And we go back to John for an update on that Washington-USC game.
Well, Keith, there's now under 4 minutes left in the game, but USC has life. This is Brad Otten to Terry Barnum, 16 yards. They're just a touchdown away now, but as I mentioned, about 3 minutes now left in the game. Keith.
Yeah, they're making a game of it.
That could be for the Rose Bowl right there, huh?
Sure could. There's another team lurking in the shadows, though. Oregon's still in it.
Yes, they are.
So is UCLA. On first down, Frazier hands it off to Childs, bumps into big number 70, who had dropped back to block Eric Anderson. Eric's a mere 6'4", 300, so it took him a minute to run around him, and by then the defenders were there. Billy Mayfair has the lead in the Tour Championship by 3. Everybody else is even or worse, as you have Brad Bryant, Steve Elkington, and Corey Pavin tied for second place, even par. That's at Southern Hills near Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we'll finish it for you tomorrow at 3 here on ABC Sports.
I bet none of them boys shot their A's like you did, Hoss. Oh, I'm glad that happened. I ain't gonna have to listen to that anymore. Whining and moaning and groaning.
Well, it's important.
I know it is.
Clinton Childs, bumping and grinding, gets up to about the 45, and I'm sure you saw the laundry flying around, so we've got a penalty coming up. If the score does not change, or if the Cornhuskers take it down for more, that's offsides against Colorado, you know that there will be slings and arrows, and one knows also that Rick Neuheisel knows, and so I asked him yesterday in conversation if he was pretty sure that his hide was thick enough for what may be coming, and he said,
Well, I hope so. It's all the hide we got.
Pretty good attitude.
He is young and he is bright. He does have some things to learn. He is the second youngest. Division I coach, Ron Cooper, 4 days early, younger. Keith, I think one of the things that is missing in this Buck team is the players have to be a little bit more disciplined. And I think that is where all the penalties come from. I think there needs to be a little bit more discipline in the program.
Notre Dame finally put Boston College down, but not without a fight. Second down and 9. Frazier is missed in the backfield and turns upfield, and he's
a shovel pass. Yeah, that was supposed to be a shovel pass, and Frazier said, well, what the heck? It ain't going to work. I'll just take it. You know, people say, well, you know, what makes Frazier so good? Well, he's in the same system, so he knows the offense, and he's experienced. He's a great athlete. This offense is perfect for his talents. He was the top option quarterback coming out of high school. He is the top, or at least one of the top, option quarterbacks right now. He has overcome adversity last year with the blood clots and all that other stuff. He is very confident at this time. He's a leader, and he is smart. He puts you in the right play at the line of scrimmage, so there's no dead plays.
There's contact in the middle of the line as number 94 popped out of there, Kerry Hicks. So it's always the wait to see if somebody moved or Hicks jumped. Frazier, of course, is from Palmetto, Florida. So he's one of those Floridians that left home to play. Time permits, Thrifty Continental postgame report, scores and highlights for you around the country. The game was slowed down for a moment here. The pace of it has.
Keith, there's a new rule this year. Watch the defensive man on the left, Hicks. Watch him move. He jumps in, and if the defensive man jumps in and causes the offensive man to move, it's on the defense. And Ott, the guard, Steve Ott, is the man right over in that move. There's a look at the penalties. Nebraska is clean. 78 yards of field position that Colorado has given up.
They're hooting and hollering because they're moving people back on the Colorado sideline. Now they've accomplished it.
That's the guard, 69 Ott, in that survey of team players. He was voted most likely to eventually be a millionaire because he has his own stock account.
Well, if this is anything like Bowman, it ain't going anywhere. They're calling that play right about the line of scrimmage. Referee Terry Turlington. Timeout, Colorado. At 4 minutes and 48 seconds to play in the game, and the Cornhuskers, De Beers. A diamond is forever. Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. And Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. Put a sack up 'em on your back, get on your bicycle on a sunny day, and go downhill. From the 44-yard line, it is second down and 10 plus. Option pitch back to Childs. Childs keeps working his way to the sidelines and finally is run out of bounds. Down at the 39-yard line, but he picked up 5 yards and he just kept feeling his way up the field. So we have a circumstance of number 1 being idle to ensure their continued posture there, Florida State. Florida State doesn't really have a test in front of them until they go on the road to Virginia and then finish the season at Gainesville. And the team that still catches my eye is Ohio State because of Washington, Notre Dame, Penn State, Wisconsin in a row. And they scored 56 today against Iowa.
Tougher schedule.
Tougher schedule, right. Is thrown way over the head of Sheldon Jackson. Incomplete.
Well, we said early on for Nebraska offensively, Tommy Frazier had to have one of his normal days, and he's passed for a lot more yardage than normal, 241 yards and 2 touchdowns, and really ran the show. Hasn't had any fumbles. Defensively, they needed to pressure the quarterback, and they've done that. They've had 8 hurries, a couple of sacks, and they picked off 2, so it's been another successful day for Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator, and Tom Osborne and his staff, which is one of the top staffs in the country, I might add.
Pressure. As the old penalty, he came flying in trying to block the punt, and he hit the kicker. And number 37, Marcus Washington, a free safety. He is going to go walking slowly and ruefully to the sidelines while the ball is restored to Nebraska's possession. But I think is this Nebraska team, this really is kind of the start of the heavyweight portion of their schedule, and they've handled it pretty well. Then they've got Kansas on the road at Lawrence, and then they play Oklahoma. So right at this point in time, it's kind of hard not to think they're not going to win it out.
Watch as he's trying to make something happen. He's going to slide into him. He tries to dive at him, and that could be a serious injury there. Fortunately, it wasn't. But when you take that dive and leave your feet, it's not where the punter was. It's where he's going to be, and you got to be out in front of him.
And so the penalty moves the football to the 24. And it's a first down. 37-21 Nebraska with 4:30 to play in the game. And Clinton Childs getting a lot of work today. Slips and slides and wiggles and squirms and picks up about 5 yards.
You talk about Nebraska losing a lot of players from last year's team. Colorado lost a lot also. They lost eight players that went to the NFL draft, and they had 3 of them that were on their offense. Remember Cordell Stewart and Sean Salam was first-round draft choice, and Michael Westbrook, all 3 of them. So a lot of players go into the pros from these 2 programs.
Inside 4 minutes now. Blitz coming, doesn't work. Up the middle goes Childs. Childs runs into Rosga, and Rosga takes him down at the 10-yard line.
Well, Colorado coming into the game needed some big plays from their wide receivers. They got some. They got 12 reception and 173 yards and a couple touchdowns. And as a matter of fact, that was the first 2 touchdowns in 8 years. Touchdown passes against Nebraska, and hold them under 250. They did that, but they gave up a lot of passing yards to Tommy Frazier, and that was the difference.
First and 10 at the 10. Not sure if it's goal or not. I can't see the ball. It's pretty close to being that. Gain of 5 yards by Clinton Childs, and that'll take him down to the 5, and yes, it is. Second down and goal from the 5.
You see Tommy Frazier checking off at the line of scrimmage, and that is one of the hidden values, the hidden secrets to this team, because when you can check off at the line, you can...
Again, second down and goal from the 5-yard line. 3 minutes and 3 seconds. It's Clinton Childs lined up in the deep back. Makovic at the fullback, and it's Childs. His second spin was worth 3 yards. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara, coordinating producer of today's game and producer of today's game, Bob Goodrich. Our associate coordinating producer is James Ressler. Our game here in Boulder was directed by Drew Esikoff, who also directed lunch.
and a darn good one. And Drew, you ought to do it every week.
We think you should be elected to that.
Yes, sir.
Make you a vice president. Ball is on the 2-yard line for the Cornhuskers, and they're over here at the side having football today, directed by Clint Haywood and produced by Charles Copeland. College football today, TD, Gary Boyarsky, and our what is this? Technical director for us here in Boulder, Gary Larkins. New York remote coordinator David Kiviat. Bruce Clark, our associate director. Production manager Lynn Cadden. Our tech ops manager Stefan Petrat. Our telecommunications manager Jim Licata. Our assistants to the producer, well, I don't know if I want to tell you who they are or not. Bob O'Mara and Roger Wilson. Statistician Dave Burnson, spotter Todd Barry. Our computer stats Mark Amento, who's also from Omaha. And our sideline coordinator, Matt Panagiotis.
That's not him there.
And that fellow looks familiar, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Big John went to school with his daddy Jack at Washington State University. Third down and 2 for the Huskers. Third and goal from the 2. Frazier turns in the end zone. He's a tough man, Mr. Frazier.
We've been talking all day about the offensive line. Look over here. These guys going to come in and seal, and Frazier just going to come right up in here. The right side, that's Ott, the 69. 70 to tackle. Working together is Anderson. Gilman, the tight end. 77 is True. It is the timing. They all can move their feet, and that is key for offensive linemen.
So with 2:46 to play in the game, it is now 44 Nebraska and 21 Colorado. And here's what's shaken with the top 25 folks around the country, as there have been some surprises and some narrow escapes, but the top-ranked teams didn't have much trouble today. Tennessee scoring big. There's the big surprise right there. Yeah. Kansas State whacking Kansas that much, 41-7. Northwestern just getting past Illinois. And Michigan running it up now, 52-10. Oregon leading by 3 against Arizona State, fighting to stay alive in the Pac-10 Rose Bowl chase, and a big ball game in the Southeastern Conference tonight, Auburn and Arkansas in Little Rock. Washington leading by 7 over USC. Trojans on the verge of losing their second successive game. The only thing that hurts about that one is that's a conference game.
Yep.
Washington, incidentally, doesn't have a conference loss. They're in the hunt. All right, Nebraska will kick it off. Chris Brown will hammer it. And it's Herschel Troutman backing up, fumbling it. Ball come out? No, it did not come out. It'll be a touchback. Marlon Barnes covered it. But that'll take your breath away to have that happen. Here's the first offensive play of today's game, the very first one.
They've been working against this all week, the Colorado defense. They knew the option was coming. They're going to come out and run it. You know it's coming, and you can't do anything about it. That set the tone for the day.
The Buffaloes fought back, and we're in the hunt for a time, but you see USC now has come back to tie 21-21. So Colorado trying to get a little respect here as they fight back and move that football with Ray Caruth carrying it up to the 35-yard line and getting a first down. 2.5 minutes to play. You can put one in the end zone and then some, especially with this kind of speed. So USC goes for the tie against Washington. 21-21.
Yeah, I don't know. John Robinson may know something that maybe a tie
won't hurt you as much as a loss in that particular conference.
Maybe a better record. Yeah,
Yep.
Probably goes back to a better record.
Better overall record.
Yeah. Tom Osborne, boy, what a great career he's had, huh, Keith?
Not bad.
His 23rd year as head coach, his 34th year at Nebraska. He was the National Coach of the Year last year, and every one of those 23 years, he's had at least 9 wins. The amazing thing, though, is he's never lost more than 3.
Hessler's pass is completed to Phil Savoy, trying to split the defenders and get the first down. Can't quite do it. There's one thing about Dr. Tom, and he does have a PhD in educational psychology, that he makes up his mind after he's assessed the circumstances and the facts. Leave him alone, because you ain't going to change it.
He's a quality class individual. And when he makes decisions on personnel, on anything else, you got to go along with what he's doing, because he knows the situation a heck of a lot better than we know it or anybody else around America.
Ball is out of bounds at midfield. Good for a first down. Ray Caruth moved the change. You got 1:54 to play in the game, and still bright, warm, sunny day in Boulder, Colorado. The Buffs have a chance now to run out the season at 9-2, and that'll give them a pretty respectable place to go over the holidays, I would think. Almost picked off. Picked off by
Warfield.
Eric Warfield.
Yeah. Here's a look at Nebraska. Next week they go. They have Iowa State at home. Then they go to Kansas and finish with Oklahoma.
So, Mr. Bowden, you might want to start greasing your cannon, because there's some folks out in the plains waiting for you. That pass down the middle is complete to Caruth, and it's a big gain down to the 23-24 yard line of Nebraska.
What do you know, Florida's sitting home watching, they're greasing the cannon, I know. But there ain't no way that Nebraska should move ahead of Florida State just because they have a big win here, and Florida State's not playing.
Bowls won't change.
No, you don't do that. You shouldn't do that. But
the dangerous thing they've got to avoid here is getting themselves wrapped up in the postseason stuff because of all the hype and yahoo that goes with it. And forget about a Kansas or a Oklahoma or Iowa State.
Yeah.
Because there was a time when they were sitting up there in the catbird seat, went down to Ames and got themselves whipped.
There was a time when Kansas was an easy pick on the schedule.
Caruth is out of bounds. That's an incomplete forward pass.
A great effort, though, on his part.
So the Huskies and the Trojans play to a 21-21 tie. It's a sister kisser, but probably a pretty one.
If it gets USC at Rose Bowl, they'll look back on it and say that was a good decision.
It's a pretty one. Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, the same applies to Lambright.
You've been around a long time there, boss. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Where did that phrase, "a tie is like kissing your sister," come from?
I don't know. I heard it once upon a time, and I thought it was pretty good, and other people did too, and they've been using it forever. Genuine Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Tommy Frazier of Nebraska, 241 yards passing, 40 running, 3 touchdowns. Donnell Leometti for Colorado, 13 tackles for the Buffaloes. Played a good tough ball game. He's a good player. In celebrating its 25th year of NCAA sponsorship, Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's General Scholarship Fund to reward outstanding students for academic achievements and assist those in financial need. Pass across the field to Phil Savoy. And concerned for his health.
He got a headache.
Four Huskers hit him.
Yeah, he got a headache right there. You know, when you get up and you start patting them on the head, you know that they hit you pretty good.
That's right. 49 seconds to play here. Let's quickly go for an update on that Seattle fight today with John.
Keith, USC trailed 21-0 in the fourth quarter of this game. Brad Otten goes 2 yards to Johnny McWilliams. They kicked the point after to tie the game because their better record overall gives them the inside track to the Rose Bowl. Keith.
Okay, John. As we had surmised, Behringer is now your quarterback. Brooke Behringer, a senior from Goodland, Kansas, the man who played such a major role in the Cornhuskers' march to a championship last year when Tommy Frazier went down.
Wouldn't have been there without this man right here.
No, sir. Everybody getting a chance to get on the field now and get a taste of it. As the substitutions are continuing, a group goes out, take one snap, come back, another group goes out. They brought 79 on the trip today. And running hard up the middle is Joel McAvica, the younger of the brothers from Brainerd, Nebraska. And he picks up a first down. And the folks starting to move out onto the field now as the clock is rolling. They're going to let it run, too, because the issue has been resolved. There is no question about who's going to win the ball game, and they might as well let it go on and finish. And your final score, Nebraska 44 and Colorado 21, and this is the way it looks in the Big 8 at the conclusion of this game. Nebraska stays on top. Kansas State jumps back up there with Kansas after beating them today. Colorado, however, has sustained a second loss and now at 2-2. Your final score, as we told you, 44-21. Nebraska remains undefeated and almost surely number 2 in the country. Coming up on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Mike, thank you very much. We'll hear from Coach and the Pony in just a few minutes. But first, we want to join Lynn Swan, who spoke with Tommy Frazier. His Heisman chances certainly not hurt by the 2 touchdown passes and the touchdown run. Here's what Frazier had to say to Lynn Swan just moments ago.
Chris, Tommy Frazier right here. Tommy, one of your best ball games. You're throwing the ball a little bit more this afternoon.
Yeah, we saw a chance where we can go to the air and throw the ball against them a little bit because we knew coming into the game that their defensive backs were going to be playing loose, so they gave us a chance to hit little short routes, cross routes underneath.
When the first play of the ball game is a big run for a touchdown, do you let your guard down just a little bit sometimes?
No, I don't think so. I think that set the tone for us. When we went out and scored in the first place, Coach Osborne said all week that the first play we could score where they will line up on defense.
With Kansas State having beat Kansas, you guys are in control of your own destiny. You think it's going to be a smooth trip all the way?
No, I don't think so. We have Kansas, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma, then we have Iowa State. They're going to be 3 tough games, and we just have to go out and prepare each week and play and be ready to play.
All right, they're looking to see you, I think, in Tempe, Tommy.
All right, thank you.
All right, Chris?
Lynn, thank you. They are thinking very much about a repeat national title. Every week they count the games down until they can play in Tempe. What you really appreciate about Tommy Frazier when you watch him in person on the field is the strength. Lee, it's not weight room strength, but he just fights off tacklers so well.
Tommy Frazier's a great football player, but he's not really the secret of this football team. What I saw today was power in the offensive line, defensive quickness from Nebraska, and special teams, and they can play. So anybody from Nebraska, get your tickets to Phoenix, because those last 3 games he talked about, forget it, sweetheart. They're going to run right over those guys.
The guy you're talking about on the offensive line, Aaron Graham. Yeah. Aaron Graham's a good guy. Yeah. I mean, the guy's up there making play calls, doing a great job of it. I was very impressed with Nebraska's play calling offensively. I thought their coaches did an outstanding job of mixing things up. Quarterback draws. You'd see the tight end coming across for the short, shallow passes, and it was unbelievable the way they kept Colorado off balance. Tommy Frazier's not a great passer, but he does get it to the people when he needs to.
Colorado did not have a disaster on the punting, which has been a problem, but again, the penalties, 12 penalties. They're on a pace to break a 45-year-old record. How can you give Nebraska 100 yards in penalties?
There is absolutely no way you can do that. I don't care if you're home or not. But you look back to the second quarter. They go in at halftime 31-14. There were 3 key penalties against Colorado that allowed Nebraska to continue the drive that put them up 31-14. And I thought that was very distraught against Colorado.
I want to finish that point you made about Aaron Graham, the center. He made all the line calls in there. He handled the shotgun snap. I watched him on the sideline. He's the leader of that offensive team. Second year in a row, the offensive line is the reason why Nebraska's winning.
Now to SC in Washington. We frankly questioned the Trojan hearts after an effort that we thought was subpar in South Bend last week with 21 fourth-quarter points. Brad Otten brilliant in the second half. He's the guy I think they got to stick with.
Well, I owe them an apology. I said they had no heart against the Irish. I was wrong. When you're behind 21-0 and you can come back and do what they did at Washington, congratulations, USC. You got heart and character.
Northwestern winning the close games against good teams, and Northwestern wearing down teams in the second half with Darnell Autry.
Darnell Autry is 1 point, but you talk about their defense at 2.29 turnovers per game. We talked about it all day, all week. They continue to take the ball away from the opponents, 3 of them against Illinois today. That's why they won the ball game.
Georgia's defense had been tough. We knew that wouldn't last against Florida's offense.
You call it. First quarter, they had more touchdowns scored on them in the last 3 ball games. Steve Spurrier is the best offensive football coach in the country, bar none. The guy is sensational. He teaches the quarterbacks in the passing game.
Northern Illinois, South Carolina, and Vandy, they could score 200 points in the last 3 games. And K-State, impressive against Kansas.
K-State, what we're seeing now